which could be great.
Vertical Gaming is going to start out on attack, Excellence on defense, and right off the get-go, we're going to have Frost chosen here by Fox, which, knowing how Fox, I used to play with Fox back in the day, back in beta, early release, he was always a very fast-paced player. Frost doesn't necessarily have that same feeling with her.
No, I think she does really fit into that fast pace.
You think so? With
yeah,
her low shooting?
Her 9mm is great. It is super good at headlining. 2 armor, 2 speed. I mean, a 2 speed's only 90% as fast as a 3 speed, so you're only losing 10% of that speed, right? I think that...
it's also a very low rate of fire, though, weapon, to try and go in a quick engagement.
It's so good for headlining, and also, I don't know why, but it chunks people down, man. It chunks people down. And actually, I think it kills faster than most people can kill you because something about the DPS, I don't know, it's a really good gun. I know it's got low rate of fire, but that is a really good gun. It's seriously underestimated. I think Fox will be fine on Frost.
Have recovered their diffuser.
But you're right, he is a fast-paced player.
Defender has left the area of operation.
No big surprises in the operator selection apart from that Frost, though. Avian's going to go up on top of this tower outside of spawn and take out my man.
Now this is that same spot he got on Elevate.
Yeah.
He got Laxing and Sky. Skies was the if I remember correctly, Skies was the Valkyrie first getting picked off. Laxing was, I think, a Bandit.
He's had a lot of work done from that tower. I mean, Avian just purchased himself, puts his talons on top of the bars, and just shoots people who cross between A bomb site and CCTV every single attack round on this top defense. Even on a ventilation defense, people still cross that on defense.
Now I want to talk about this camera here for a moment because you would think, okay, I'm throwing a camera right on the same pole that a standard camera's on, it's going to get shot right away, and that's one of the things that's not happening.
I mean, I think it's being a little bit obscured by the barbed wire. SC4 is going to narrowly miss Eclipse, but it also, this is important, it did notify Eclipse that, oh, they have a camera on me, almost certainly, which means he's going to be playing a little bit safer here.
Yeah, I think you might have seen it. Nope, he does not see it, so Geo and
that barbed wire, man, I'm telling you.
Geo and Eclipse still going to go head for head here, trying to engage here.
This is a lot of aggression that Excellence are putting out despite being at the man disadvantage early on in the round. There's only half the round left. Eclipse is conscious of Geo playing inside of this front ventilation, and he's just looking for these. Actually, I don't think he knows exactly where Geo is. He's just wondering.
He doesn't know. Eclipse is just wondering, but I like the pressure that Geo's putting on down because that's Buck's home. He gets under there, tries to open up the floor, let go of the half wall, make sure people aren't behind it. Geo's the one holding this down single-handedly without throwing a single bullet out.
Yeah, and he's going to go, it looks like we are going to have the Buck actually rotate because of it. Whoa,
no
aggressive play from King. What is happening here?
Very aggressive here.
How did he get in with almost no, what's going on?
There's no barbed wire at all to stop this push. Brian's going to tag one down on a slash, but not before Fox gets removed here by the R4C.
Excellence is being really aggressive here on this round.
Gurmy has been spotted out behind the lockers. King George is going to lock that down with his line of sight. 40 seconds to go. Eclipse is now moving in forward. No frag grenades at his disposal yet, though. More shots going to come on in. King George spots the head of Brian, takes it on out, and Gurmy will be injured and then finish off here momentarily as Geo tries to rotate back onto site. Last man down, a 1-on-4, and this will go into the hands here of Vertical Gaming. But Geo's got a little bit to say about it. Stops one, downs another, but King George just has that laser accuracy. And that will be the death of Geo.
Nice shot there to King George. Let's see it. Good hold down there. So, well, the early pick from Avian obviously gave VG a little bit of an edge there. But right after that, Excellence still getting very aggressive onto the VG attack and ended up losing a couple more men. More importantly, though, no barbed wire like you talked about in through the A wall. But aside from that, aside from the barbed wire, the small office pressure was non-existent. There was neither a reinforcement nor a mirror window,
it was all
nor
soft.
Holes. They hadn't opened murder holes. They just left the walls there, and that is basically your main avenue to holding that A wall push. So, just some serious mistakes coming out there from Excellence. Now, that might just be them playing it a little bit loose and not really minding too terribly if they win or lose that round, but I get that, I respect that, but at the same time, you know, easy solution to easy problems.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like there should have been people in that west balcony or west area by the half wall because Geo was doing a fabulous job of denying the pressure from underneath.
Yeah,
so you should have had at least someone there.
That's another thing is there was no barbed wire, no mirror window, and then nobody playing bunker or by the A wall. There was nothing to stop someone from just pushing on in, and that's exactly what we saw. King George pushed in, got a 3K, easy. Now we are going to have VG play very aggressive into CCTV. We've talked about this hold before. Put that mirror window facing towards the main hallway, and that gives you control over the south balcony door as well as the main hallway, and a little bit of pressure onto offices. So it's a multi-purpose mirror window. Gives you tons of control overall for the whole top floor. And then apart from that mirror window, it's so very easy for a defender to maintain control over the west balcony. But it's going to be eXcellence seemingly attacking onto the offices. Now, also similar to the CCTV hold here, VG attempts to play aggressively into office sandwich, which I believe they are doing right now. Yeah, it's going to be, it looks like Slashug, I think that is, playing with the Spaz 12 inside of this office sandwich. And he's going to be holding out just as long as he can with the support of his teammates coming from Fountain and the B-bomb site. So as you can tell, VG trying to apply a lot of pressure to the entire top floor, really not giving up anything at all for free.
Avian goes for an aggressive peek off the balcony, grabs Gurmy, then gets back inside with a, I think the only health that got taken away was just him falling off the balcony.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazing that he made it out of that with almost no damage. About 5 HP, I'd say, maybe 10. Not going to really change too much in the next engagement he finds himself in. Unfortunate there that Fox A was not able to secure that kill from that run out. You know, he had the detection, he could have put himself in the angle to find it, but he just simply did not. See there, this is what we're talking about. See that run out from Avian? That's why it's so easy for the defenders to hold that west balcony. All they need to do is run around that corner with their mirror window information or camera information and pre-fire where the attackers are going to be. I mean, what can the attackers do? There's no cover. It's basically just, oh, look at me, you've caught me with my pants down. I'm a free kill.
Now, what we are not necessarily seeing here from eXcellence is that rooftop pressure with the frag grenades going down onto Slash.
Yeah, they're kind of spread out on this attack. I mean, you can tell they're putting so much pressure downstairs for their roam game, and then they're only just now opening up a wall into office.
There is no roam game. I mean,
yeah,
everyone's on the top floor. You know there's some inside of CCTV. They're in office. I mean, you had Slash easily able to go back from Fountain to Sandwich back to Fountain.
And yet you've got two people from eXcellence downstairs hunting down roamers. And yes, there's an Ash. She can open up from below, but she's not doing that right now. Nade's coming up underneath Slashug. That's my man on that buck. Interesting he's trying to nade Slashug from below instead of just simply use his buck to try and disable the position. Slash is going to relocate, though. Avian, meanwhile, another kill. That's going to be onto Geo running out through the main door of the bomb site. Now it's 3 on 5.
Don't hop through the window. Don't hop.
No.
Oh, here comes the nade.
Wait.
By Slash. Oh, no, he got thrown out. Goes for it. Oh, he grabs it.
Good
and then
trade.
The nade comes on out. Oh, that's a Claymore finishing him off. A good trade there, as you called it. Eclipse will get that kill down onto Brian, a 1-on-4. And Fox just not able to get it. The pistol kill comes out from Eclipse, and that's going to be round 2 going to Vertical Gaming.
So it just seems they're like a little bit of a mix-up coming out from eXcellence. Their attack was seemingly not very well coordinated. You know, they started with some CCTV pressure, and then they pivoted off that CCTV pressure to main floor pressure. And then from that, they didn't hunt down any roamers because they were non-existent. There were no roamers. I mean, we had Avian do some runouts, but aside from that. And then they tried to push her into the offices, and at that point, they'd already lost so many people. There just wasn't enough pressure being applied to VG on their hold. And Slash was allowed to trade himself out where he shouldn't have in his office. Now, it is 2-0 in favor of VG. They seem to be pretty dominant so far in this match. It doesn't seem like eXcellence has been able to really consolidate themselves and get a nice coordinated attack or defense down yet. This could be their second attempt for the Armory. Now, last time we saw them completely ignore the A wall, seemingly. They neither put batteries, nor barbed wire, nor mirror window, nor reinforcement on small office, nor did they play anyone in bunker or by A wall. So they were just like, hey, come on into A. And VG took advantage of that and waltzed on into A. So I don't think eXcellence is going to make that mistake again.
Hopefully not, but we have seen, actually we saw it before, I think inside of office, it might have been the Latin American scene. We saw inside of office, they forgot to put barbed wire through the door Fox is about to go through, this hallway here. And we saw someone just rushing, possibly it was an Ash or a Twitch or whatever, just rushed right in and said, hey, office is now mine, killed the guy in Sandwich and just took it over.
I mean,
next time around, we saw the barbed wire down there. So hopefully these teams are going to make adjustments to correct little obstacles like that.
We've been in a barbed wire meta since the beginning of the game. Barbed wire arguably one of the if not the most powerful defender gadget. I mean, you don't really think about it, but it is so it has such a presence in this game for the defender side and and for both teams really. And having a piece of barbed wire on a door, which you know the attacker is going to be pressuring from, it just forces the attackers to address that barbed wire with a piece of utility, whether it be a grenade or a ash charge. At this level of play, if you try to melee a barbed wire that's properly placed, 9 times out of 10, a defender's going to hear that and get the kill as you do it. It's super dangerous. Now, we do have a roam game coming from eXcellence. It's going to be Fox A, and I believe that's my man.
Ooh, Eclipse did not spot Fox, though. He just skimmed on through servers.
A little bit too fast there, Eclipse. That's actually that's gonna mean a lot for Fox A. It means he's not gonna be detected. He might be able to get the flank of Eclipse as Eclipse pushes on into server, because you know he's gonna try and use his bucks from underneath, along with Slashhawk, who will use his ass charges. You can see VG, they're going for a CCTV AWOL take yet again. This was previously successful, but as you can tell here, eXcellence have actually invested not only utility, but players into holding this AWOL. They've even got holes down in the floor to try and hold it from below.
My man looking like he wants to toss up a C4, sees it. Will he go for it?
This would be a good start, but I think
Perfect.
Ash might be on a table.
I think he is. He
might
might be, but that's not going to stop my man from trying to go for the shots down.
Yeah, I believe Slashhawk is on top of a table, so that's not going to be... My man can neither get the shots nor the C4.
Stop outsmarting the pulse there, Slash.
Yeah, that's a really good positioning there from Slash.
Oh, no, but the bullets are still going through. You can see him there.
So it looks like he might have just hit the foot of Slashhawk. It's a nice aimed shot. Gio's going to get the first kill of the round. This could be onto Avian. That's the Habana. That's all of VG's breach potential. However, Habana's already done her job for the most part. She's opened up this mirror window. Super important. She's also opened up a line of sight onto Bunker. So the attackers are going to be very comfortable having lost their Habana, despite that fact.
Now, it looks like the pressure is going to come in from the west balcony. Flashbang's going to go in, and it looks as though we will have an blind Gio. But that's okay. He's tucked around behind the wall. King George again going to go for the peek around by half wall. Moving in forward. Now, I don't quite know if Gio realizes he's inside. I think he does, but he does going to look to the left. There's the shield getting broken up, and he cannot get tagged down. Gio will be removed by Young. That's going to be my man picking up a kill, and Young slashing on down another kill here as he takes out Gurmy with a headshot. Now, a 2-on-2, you got Slash and Young, last two alive. Fox trying to rotate back on his sight.
Here comes the C4.
Slash comes on in. Young gets taken down, but the plant goes down successfully. Slash needs to hop on out. I thought he might have gotten injured hopping off the balcony, but no, he's got about 10 health left to go.
We're going to see a stick. He's going to stick it.
He will stick it here. Slash, can he get back in time? It's going to be Ash. He doesn't realize it. He's slashing it one last hit, and that's going to be game. No, the team of the round, and eXcellence comes out on top. Round number 3 goes to the hands of eXcellence. It's now 2-1.
Pros don't fake, Slash. You gotta be on top of it. Pros don't fake. That's unfortunate that Slash took a little bit too much time there to apply the pressure to the main window.
I mean, it was either rappel up onto the balcony,
right,
or rappel up onto the balcony and then rappel into it and expose yourself and die.
Yeah, no, rappelling onto the balcony would have been a mistake, but you know, he could have obviously opened up that window when he got onto the van, and then he would have seen the Valkyrie as he vaulted up onto the north balcony, and you know, he could have killed it. I said it doesn't matter. I mean, that's gonna be the first round loss there for VG. Now, it was a nice try. I like their collapse there onto the bomb site, and the fact that they forced it out to just being 2-on-2, and the last two were roaming. You could imagine, though, if they had applied that pressure to the roam game, maybe they could have actually just come out on top through and through. I mean, we've seen so many examples previously in this season of teams on border, especially, collapsing on that first floor roam game, eliminating them, getting them right off the board early on, and then they are in such an advantageous position from them there forward that they take it to the bomb site is easy peasy. Now,
every single wall inside of the southeast corner of the servers has been reinforced. All 8 walls. That's a lot of reinforcements to utilize.
Yeah, I mean, normally we don't see that, and the reason we don't see that is because most teams tend to want to invest a lot of that reinforcement up here in the top floor. But in this instance, VG has done, well, not that. They've invested simply, I believe, 2 reinforcements upstairs. Those are likely going to be utilized for these mirror window placements. You can see one here where Avian's going to be playing for that run out that we talked about earlier. Wonder where the other one is.
Not quite sure. It has been placed down. We'll have to see exactly There it is.
Oh, look at that. That's okay. So that's the 10th reinforcement. It's gonna be on the B bomb side. Like the way that VG's covering all their bases here. I also like that they're not investing so many reinforcements upstairs, because most teams, when they do that full stack upstairs, and we do have VG doing a pretty significant amount of pressure on the top floor with their player count. Usually they fall off within 30 seconds, maybe a minute, right? They do their best to hold, but they fall off inevitably. And Slashug is going to be one of those. I think Romer's actually upstairs getting kicked off early on.
Oh, Brian might be spotted inside of the bathroom right above him. It looks like it's going to be...
I think it's teammate.
Oh, it is Gio?
Yeah, as you can see here, eXcellence, they've taken control over the top floor there, and in terms of offices, and I think they might actually have some pressure into archives.
Gotcha.
And that's allowing the rest of the attackers to push in through this tellers and bathroom.
My man tags the head there of Young, getting the second kill of the round. Slash was already killed off. A 5-on-3 now. King George has gotten back on the site through the drop hatch. He's going to try to poke a kill in through the wall, and Brian's going to look to try to counter that and put some pressure back on himself. Goes for the peek, couple more bullets might go flying his way. My man's gonna spot him out there with a drone. Eclipse picks off the head of Fox. That's another frag down, a 4-on-3.
Ooh, King George narrowly avoiding death there. He's still got 2 people to deal with from this bathroom though. Very dangerous engagement to be handling.
Here comes a nade from my man. It's gonna go right over the side of the server stack, and that will injure him.
Well aimed nade.
Wonderful time, wonderful aim. Eclipse is going to try to move in forward. Almost gets ahead of my man. He has it back on out of there. Leave King George for the Vultures. We have my man now moving in. He knows that, hey, I haven't seen him peek for a while. He's got to be injured. Tags one down.
What a shot.
Grabs the other one next to him. He's injured. Avian going to try to swing back through the west stairs. Gets seen, gets spotted, and gets taken down. My man picking up a 3 kill to finish off the round.
Great job to him, man. There, love that that nade. That was perfectly timed, perfectly aimed to take out King George. Being conscious of the position that is almost certainly going to be played there if anyone's holding in the site.
That recoil on Buck's assault rifle makes me cringe sometimes. Seeing that, I don't know how people control it.
It was great to watch my man try or attempt to control it. I mean, he does a pretty good job of it.
He does. I just don't know how he does it.
Right. I mean, it just takes practice. You know, the real problem with Buck's AR's recoil isn't how insanely high it is, how much recoil it is. Yeah, that is an issue, right? But you can learn to control it. The issue with Buck's AR recoil is because you come off of that recoil on going on to any other gun in the game, seemingly, and you're like, oh, now I have to, I'm overcompensating,
Yeah.
I'm pulling down way too much. So it makes Buck a lot harder to mainline because you have to keep pivoting off of it over and over again. So that round was really well done to my man there. You can see he's doing great things for his team. And we are at a 2-2 scoreline, but if you take a look at that scoreboard again, you can see here that VG very clearly have across the board, look at them, 2 kills to 3 kills between them. Meanwhile, eXcellence, they've got 3 guys with 1 kill. I mean, this is just VG really putting together a lot of coordination. Now, eXcellence Gaming having won their defense at the top floor. They're going to be defending ventilation now. Now, this is the first time they've gone downstairs into the ventilation hold, and it's looking like a very similar setup to VG with some slight differences. A little bit reinforcements moved, no Mira, instead opting to bring a castle, and a couple of slight alterations to the VG hold. And that's actually, I think, what we've been seeing overall throughout this match, whether it be in a hold or an attack, is just slight variation between these 2 squads. And we talked about it before when before the match started, how both of these teams are scrim partners or were scrim partners previously in the season. They're probably scrimming actually right now. I mean, again,
this is probably a scrim for them.
Well, in essence, yeah, but I mean, as soon as both of them qualified for LAN in the playoffs, they probably went right back to scrimming because they're like, hey, we're gonna play each other in we're gonna play each other to find out what our seeding is, but whatever. And we need to practice, we need to get ready. So I'm sure this is essentially just a scrim. These are very friendly teams. Foxy is going to be challenging onto Avian, who's trying to push into these offices. And you can see, this is the same exact attack.
Oh, Fox has fallen off of the shelving unit down the hole.
A little bit
He'll
of
have to get picked back up there by Brian, though.
Yeah, you can't fall that far, man. That's gonna take a lot of HP off of the eXcellence side. But you can see here, VG's attack is essentially the same thing that eXcellence just executed in the previous round. Take control of offices, take control of archives, then you have the vertical control over all the way up to bathrooms. And then from bathrooms, you can open up the wall into the bomb site and start applying that pressure to the anchors. And I really do, you can tell the similarities between these 2 squads.
Now, it looks as though we may have had everyone from eXcellence vacate the premise on the top floor. They've all gone through the drop hatch, they're back downstairs, and now they're trying to stop this push in from Tellers, which you see Avon and King George trying to execute. We still have Eclipse. He's up here inside of the fountain looking for the crossover for the push from Brian or possibly any member from eXcellence moving back over towards the south end of the map. Now as we finish off here, there are 50 seconds left to go. Still a 5-on-5. Fox trying to come on through a hole. Avian doesn't see him, and that's going to allow Fox to move. Oh, he might be seen here. Flashbang's going to come out. Avian goes for a duck shot and moves on over, takes off the head of Fox. That's going to be the first frag of the round. A 4-on-3 now. Looks like another one might come on out of the woodwork, but no, my man says sit down. And now he comes on up, getting the kill. A 4-4 now. There are 30 seconds left to go. Splash and Geo going to go head-to-head. That's going to be one head taken out. Now a 3-5. Eclipse still trying to come in through the drop hatch. As he drops, Brian picks up the kill with the SMG-11. King George swacking on over with the shots from Blackbeard's weapon to take off Gurmy. A 3-on-2. King George and Young, last two alive here for VG. Looks like Flashbang's going to force Brian to sit tight for a few moments as he comes onto the hole. Geo looks from above, picks up that vertical game. Last man alive is going to be Young, but he gets taken out of commission here by my man to finish off round 5 in favor of eXcellence.
So what happened there for VG, they had control, they had the positioning, they just got a little bit confused. Honestly, they got a little bit confused on what their attack was supposed to be there. They forfeited control over offices and archives, and their push in through the main tellers and bathroom just stalled out. It was completely stalled out. It started to get picked off one by one by the eXcellence defense, and they all spread out, started to do their own thing, and it just basically, like I said, attack stalled out, they started to falter, and that was really the end of the round there for VG. Now, for the first time in this map and match overall, eXcellence have their lead. 3-2. Now, those first two rounds for Vertical Gaming seemed extremely dominant. And it's taken a turn for the worse here for Vertical. eXcellence stepping way up.
Now, I mean, seeing this scoreboard and seeing that for eXcellence, you've got a member that has 6 kills, a member that has 7, that's my man and Geo. To me, if I'm Vertical Gaming, I need to step it up and say, look, these are the two guys we need to take out, and then we'll have an easier time trying to win these rounds. Because right now, those are the two players that are quote-unquote carrying the rest of eXcellence.
Yeah, arguably, yeah, absolutely. Arguably, you're right, but also, you know, you got to keep in mind for the first two rounds, VG basically shut everybody down from the eXcellence side, and since then, it's been 3 rounds in a row for eXcellence, and just because all the kills are on those two guys doesn't necessarily mean they're the only ones putting in work. And also, I'd say if those two guys do get taken out, I don't think they're necessarily going to shut down eXcellence overall. I think that somebody else will step up because, you know, it's just been 2 rounds of losses, and then eXcellence have been winning landslide for these last 3. It could just be a case where the other guys on the team, those other 3 eXcellence players, just haven't had an opportunity to get too many kills. And not trying to force it out or anything is the right way to play as well. So playing it nice and slow here, eXcellence are going to be taking onto the offices. They have control over those east stairs and then open up this main office wall. Slashug is playing with the MPX now instead of the Spaz, and he will be going for these long angles. I love this mix-up. It's catching eXcellence a little bit off guard, but no, too aggressive there onto my man. Med will hit the shot. So Slashug did manage to light up my man, but that is a huge mistake.
He's going to go fall off, get picked back up. There's plenty of time here, although it will waste like 20, 30 seconds because they're going to get the rappel and pick him up.
It's the right call, let's be honest.
It is.
Now, I do think here that was a really big mistake there from Slashug, and that's going to put Vertical Gaming now, they've lost a lot of pressure. Office's control is completely forfeit to eXcellence, despite the fact that they're getting slowed down because of that reset. They still have the control. And Gurmy now is going to pick off Avian, as Avian attempts to rotate to assist this hold. And now it's all kind of just falling apart here for VG. Slashug needed to waste at least another 30 seconds there inside of Office Sandwich.
Slash did have a great idea. He had the right opportunity. The plan's going to go down here momentarily inside of the archive. King George going to toss out a C4. Tags the kill there onto Brian, stopping that plan. There's going to be a gas grenade that comes out. Young going to get blinded up by yet again another flashbang. Fox realizing, hey, I can actually set this down. I think he's got a lunchbox in his way. There he goes.
He will get it. There we go.
He will set it down. And we will have King George again trying to put some pressure onto Gurmy. He will be injured and then taken out, but it looks like a trade comes on out. Fox gonna fall off the ledge and get injured. It's all here up to Gio, and I don't think they realize it just yet. And it looks as though they're gonna go ahead and pick up King George. You also have Young who's here. The last man alive is going to be Gio. He comes on swinging, tags one. Can he tag another? Young's got 1 bullet health left to go. He's going to look for a flashbang, moves on in. Gio looking to get the shots down to Young. Can he do it? Tosses out another flashbang, gets one. Can he get another? No, the defender's going to get it. Gio, he gets the 1 kill but cannot get it in time. That's going to be Eclipse tagging down the diffuser at 3-3 now.
What an attempt from Gio. Very potentially could have been a clutch, but it wasn't. Okay,
a little bit too much time with the flashbang.
Yeah.
That was just a little bit too much time.
Okay, some people are going to be saying, oh, he flashbanged himself and that's why he lost. No, honestly, the reason he lost that is because he pulled the pin for the flashbang in the first place.
Yep.
The flash neither assisted nor was the detriment. It was just him taking the time to throw it. If he had simply rushed in, pre-fired the corner, he would have won flat out. Both Young and the diffusing player, or the disabling player, they were lined up. He just sprays the corner, he wins. So it was a nice try there from Gio, but I think he got a little bit ahead of, or I think he was taking the other guys a little bit too seriously there. He really just needed to go for the pre-fire.
Now back to the conversation with Slash and how he had kind of been we'll call it over aggressive. That play wasn't necessarily
It wasn't the wrong one. It was just
the fact
shot.
he pulled off too soon. He thought he got the kill there onto Buck, wanted to not overexpose himself, so he went back and realized, oh crap, I didn't get Buck down all the way, so he went to re-peek again, and that's what cost him.
Well, whatever the case be, I mean, it was just he just missed it. I mean, he missed the shot.
Yep.
Through and through, he missed the shot. If he had hit the shot, yeah, it would have been great. He would have got a kill. But you know, again, the job there is to waste the time. You know, and the fact that he didn't really put his team in a slightly worse position, which, you know, they ended up winning from regardless, which was great job to VG there. Honestly, it looked like, by the way, on that note, a round overall, eXcellence had that round. They did have that round.
Yep.
Just a couple mistakes like right next to each other, and it suddenly slipped away from them. Also, great retake there from VG. You saw that coordination between King George and Young peeking onto the Blackbeard. That should have been the sort of thing where Blackbeard just wins one engagement, then he wins another engagement. Because of that coordination, though, from VG, that wasn't allowed to happen. And that's what you got to do against the Blackbeard.
Yeah, I think
you know he's going to hold that angle.
I think it was Fox that had fallen off the balcony, tried vaulting over.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, little opportunities that are missed, and hopefully they won't occur again, or else that might spell doom here for eXcellence.
I mean, we're seeing what we expected to see in this match overall, by the way. 3-3. It's been a total back and forth fest, and it's been coming down to the last straw in every single one of these rounds, seems like. Foxay is going to try and active bandit, and he will be
he'll get the second one. He'll get the second set because they realize VG what they're doing. They're going to put a first one down, set it off, then tag a second one down.
Yeah, it means there's only one set of Habana charges left on Avian, and he's got to use that for the mirror window. I don't think he's going to, though. He's going to go straight for the main wall. That means the mirror window will not be opened up. It's a very dangerous play there from VG. Not being able to open up that mirror window is going to slow this down. However, Slashhawk from below will be able to open up the mirror window himself. That's great. See, that's what you need to happen.
Now my man's going to go out for a peek here, potentially from the middle passport room. He's looking on over towards the center office and then gets picked off by Slash. What a shot! I want to say there was a one tap, but he's down 7 bullets in his weapons. If he's going to go peek on upstairs, looks for the shots down there onto Brian and onto Gio.
This is great pressure that Slashhawk is applying right now to the main site, but just aside from, of course, the roam clear. That's put his team in a really great position.
Ooh, looks like a nade will force Gurmy out of position, and that will be it for him. King George smacking down another kill there on a Fox, potentially. No, Slash picks it up from underneath. And now we have Gio inside a fountain. He's going to hop back onto his yokai drone. Brian's going to try to stop the defuse plant with a gas grenade. And again, more shots coming down from Slash from underneath. Last one alive is going to be Brian. They know he's in here, 5-on-1. VG wins this round, and they have gone up to match point now, 4-3.
So VG's take there really just mostly came down to Slashhug's work from below. Great job to Slashhug, opening up that mirror window, and more importantly, clearing out that roamer, denying the C4 from below. That was huge. And because he opened up that mirror window, all VG really needed to do was just push on into the bomb site together as a team, all 4 of them. And that's exactly what happened. They won their fights, and simple as. Ventilation room workshop now going to be VG's defense as they were successful in that armory hold. And it's a match point here. If they're able to successfully defend this ventilation, we'll move on to map number 2. Or we can get overtime here if eXcellence managed to push it forward. Now, VG was unsuccessful previously when holding this bomb site, and it was a take from eXcellence straight in through the bathroom as well into a bomb site, as well as taking control of that offices and archives. Now I'm sure VG is going to be expecting that same attack again. I wonder if eXcellence is going to provide that same attack.
I think VG, I mean, they're changing it up a bit. King George is going to hop on Castle instead of Mira.
Yeah.
And last time we saw the Mira placements, there was one inside of A facing B and another one on the west wall facing the balcony. This time, though, they're holding things a little bit differently.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, a little bit of mix-up. It seems like that a lot of their focus is going on to that denying the teller stake, and that's what eXcellence took the. Again, that's what eXcellence did the first time, and VG's got to be expecting that. So it really comes down to eXcellence. Are they going to mix things up? Are they going to read into this counter and go somewhere else, or will they fall into the trap? More importantly, I guess, is if they fall into that trap, are they going to be able to fight their way out of it? Because we've seen some pretty spectacular traps set up so far in this match, and we have seen the team who has been supposedly trapped fight their way out of it. So anything's possible.
Now, Avian is tagging along here inside of the offices. Tags off one drone, looks on through the hole. It's been opened up. It's going to be as aggressive as Slash, and now he's just holding on to another drone. He's going to come on out.
He's already taken out 2 drones. He's going to get a 3rd. Oh, maybe not, as Geo manages to get his drone by Avian. Now, that each drone is very important, of course. It gives a lot of information. But Avian going to take out Fox 8, trading it back for Slashug. So Slashug's up the board for this roam game early on, which means that Avian had to fall off of the offices. Oh, this
he's going to be aggressive.
Whoa!
Oh, he tags down the headshot on a man. What a shot. Gio's going to be inside a fountain to get the refrag, and that's going to be a 3-3 now. Still over half the round to go. Castle by King George will then remove Gio. That's a picked up kill. Nice frag.
So despite Slashug unfortunately not getting much done in his roam game upstairs, Avian basically got 3 kills. He only got 2, but he lit that Thatcher up to like 1 HP, which allowed King George for an easy refrag. So now, VG in a very comfortable position because of Avian's fantastic roam game.
Now Gurmy's going to look in towards inspection, which is where Eclipse is sitting. He might tag him off here, right on top of the conveyor belts where Eclipse is going to be standing. Gurmy moving slow as a worm over here. Goes for the shots and actually just takes off his hip. That's going to be a refrag down with 2-2 here. Young is going to sit inside of the bathroom with a shotgun in hand. I believe they have opened up the castle barricade, but it doesn't look like they're going to flow that way. Gurmy's going to be at the bottom of west stairs. King George has that upper angle down onto him. Once he sees that barbed wire, you're going to see him go right to the corner, possibly go for a pre-fire drop shot. Brian is outside of that west doorway.
A bomb has been located.
So you can tell here VG's conscious of this B-bomb site attack, and because Castle's from above, he might be able to apply the vertical pressure to deny this defuse plan.
Ooh, he sees it, goes for the shots and hits him on down to about 5 health. Brian is unfortunately not going to walk away from that one. Young coming in hard with a shotgun kill, takes him on out. Last man alive is going to be Gurmy. He's inside of inspection, moving down to the bottom of the west stairs. 20 seconds to go. And it looks as though Young going to whip out that SMG-11. Flashbang's going to come on in. Gurmy now moves in forward. Above him is still going to be King George.
Bomb located by attacker.
He has to go on through that gas grenade.
It's
Another
too slow.
flashbang comes in through. Young dodges it, moves in forward. There goes the Deagle shots down onto him. He's going to try to get this planted, and from above, King George will rain down the bullets, and we are going to see Vertical Gaming secure map number 1 in a 5-3 fashion. And that's going to be not an undefeated season so far for eXcellence. Vertical Gaming still trying to secure that 2-0 victory.
And they could very well do it. Good performance here on border for Vertical Gaming. They won some rounds they really shouldn't have. Most notably that last armory defense. Wow, that was a great comeback. A couple mistakes here and there from eXcellence, and I think it just came down to Vertical not making the same amount of mistakes. I think I saw, if I were to reference one big mistake for Vertical Gaming in that match, it was just the Slashug push too aggressively in offices, and apart from that, it pretty much almost flawless. Like they were really on top of their game today.
They
Now,
did very well.
What happened in the last game was, and let's take a look at some of the highlights while we talk about it. What happened in that last round, actually, excuse me, was basically Vertical Gaming Avian specifically stopped that roam push or on the top floor from eXcellence, so they had to come off of that teller's attack through the bathroom. Because if you don't have vertical control, you can't execute that attack. Too many holes from above, too risky. And they started to mix things up, go for a B attack, and basically at that point, I mean, vertical still has that vertical control,
yeah.
so they're going to deny the defuse plant even in B. And exactly that happened.
Now that was my man's 3K we just witnessed there inside of the servers, and my man and Geo doing a lot of work for eXcellence, just not able to pull it all the way through. Good C4 from King George here, and
this was the round.
This is Geo's attempt at trying to get that 3K to finish off the round. The first flashbang, not the best position. Second one is kind of what did it in for him. Two flashbangs, a little bit too much.
It wasn't really about the fact that he flashed himself. It was that he took the time to throw. But what a shot from Avian, by the way. This was his 3K, really pushing it forward for his team. It was about the fact that he took the time to pull the pin for those flashbangs. In a lot of other games, grenades are like, throw, and then you're right back into it. In this game, it's pull the pin and then throw it. It takes some time. You know, you have to actually work up the set up that nade and get ready, put yourself in a great position, and you have to go through the motions, right? And it took a little bit too much time. He could have clutched that out if he just went for it.
Yeah, I feel like one flashbang would have done the trick had it gone through the doorway into the back.
He didn't even,
arguably,
he didn't even need to throw the flashbang.
But at the same time, he didn't know how much health the other guys had. If it was two full operators...
Partially true. I mean, we saw, obviously, the Blackbeard's probably like, oh, smoke's lit, but it doesn't matter. It was a nice try.
Game went in the hands of VG. We're going to get underway with our second map. Let's head on in. It's going to be here on Oregon. We're going to have eXcellence start off on attack, VG on defense. We are going to head to, I believe it was the top floor.
Need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
First stop here from VG is going to be that top floor. No surprises. Now, teams don't really... There's a little bit of a mixed match of preference between the basement and the top floor, but I don't think it really terribly matters. But most teams are perfectly capable of defending both equally.
Now this is, I'll call it a little bit of a different reinforcement for what I'm used to seeing on a top floor hold, is a lot of holding. It looks as though with this reinforcement they're planning on holding the meeting hall, which typically we've seen the meeting hall just be utilized for a quote-unquote kite game from kitchen going all the way back to Red Tower.
Well, on the note of that kite game, I think that, that those reinforcements are going to allow you to do that kite. You know, it's gonna if you're worried about pressure from the tower, that's going to alleviate a little bit. You know, just in case somebody waltzes into tower and melees a hole in that wall, they won't have a one-way angle. Well, not an actual one-way angle, but they won't have an advantageous angle to work with anymore. And I think, yeah, no, I mean, when we're talking about the top floor, it's not a lot to reinforce overall. It's usually excess reinforcements for the defenders, so may as well reinforce in meeting hall and attic if you're going to be trying to go for a kite out of the kitchen. And I think that makes sense for VG. They don't have any no, they have one roamer down in the kitchen. It's going to be King George. Ooh,
Slash going to use his own C4 there. That's going to be used to possibly kill off anyone who's trying to hit the castle barricade.
Didn't happen though. Interesting they use a C4 instead of just bringing King George upstairs with an impact grenade ready to burst onto the eXcellence attack.
Fox going to toss in one flashbang here and potentially rush in.
Slash is playing very aggressive and dangerously here. He did equally trade his HP with the Thatcher there, but honestly overall, all it really did was spook eXcellence.
We're going to have Fox try to open up some more of this wall, go for a shot. It looks as though Gurmy taking Blackbeard's gun and taking out King George. Eclipse will get the refrag on the Fox.
Great run out there from Eclipse.
Gas grenade comes out from Young. He's in the back stairways, hallway. Now we are seeing that Red Tower pressure a little bit. They mainly just want to make sure that there's not going to be a flank or some windows being opened up. Brian tried to clear out some of the attic, which it looks like that was successful.
You can see Eclipse is rotated downstairs. Meanwhile, a Slash is going to take out Geo. That's just through that little angle there, that pixel angle, onto the south side of the main west window. Geo was playing just a little bit too aggressively on this main west window. Usually you're going to leave that up to your Blackbeard to get done, and now Gurmy, as you can tell, is taking up that position. Eclipse being allowed into this tower is going to give him a flank opportunity if it should ever be called out that someone's repelling on those B windows, which is very dangerous for eXcellence. eXcellence is not in a good spot right now. Oh, he actually rotated off the tower. Interesting.
He did. He's underneath inside of the kitchen right now. My man's already looking for it. Sees him, goes for a couple shots, tags him in the shoulder blade, forces him out and over towards Classroom.
eXcellence is going a little bit too slow on this attack. They have the man disadvantage, and more importantly, there's only 30 seconds to go. It looks like their attack might just be through that main west window.
Yeah, now Gurmy's going to be gassed out of that window. Slash is going to move in forward. It looks as though he can he'll sneak his way here right under the windowsill. With
Dangerous.
15 seconds left to go, you're going to see Slash most likely go for a knife here onto Blackbeard as Gurmy hops on into the window, and he will get knifed right there in the booty. Now a 1-on-2. Last man alive is Slash. He needs to stay alive. Brian's actually moved his way into the middle dorms. Gurmy's repelled on inside, and he goes tags on one down. Can he tag it up? The Deagle shot from Gurmy, though. That will tag down Slash. eXcellence is going to secure round number 1 here in Oregon.
No friggin' way. What a shot here from Gurmy to bring his team back into that round. Whoa! Okay, so that fell apart from VG real quick.
Yeah,
Slashug almost managed to bring it back. But I really love the initiative there from Gurmy, whipping out the Deagle, going for that quick rush. And usually you'll just see a Blackbeard kind of stall out in that situation and just not make it to the fight soon enough.
He didn't have the diffuser. I mean, there was nothing else he could do.
Right, no. What I'm saying is normally a Blackbeard will just try to either A, take off their shield, or B, rush with the shield,
yeah.
and they'll just not make it in time. So good play there for Gurmy. Going Deagle to Deagle and coming out on top. Love that.
You got to think about it that if Slash was not as aggressive at the very beginning to get down to 30 health, it would have been more than one Deagle shot, and that could have been the end of the round and in his favor.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier. Is the aggression not necessary from Slashug. And in this instance, it actually did technically, that little action there from Slash lost them the round. Can you believe that? It all comes back to peeking out early onto a Thatcher and losing all that HP. Now it's going to be a top floor defense from eXcellence as well. They are actually going to be bringing a mirror instead of a castle. I like that they're using these mirror windows upstairs. It isn't absolutely necessary, of course, but the castle didn't really do much for vertical gaming in the last round, so I think that bringing the mirror window is probably going to be a little bit of a better preference there.
We are having a lot of soft wall destructibility brought onto the attacking side of VG, bringing the Buck and the Sledge together.
Yeah, which is good that there's no castle very clearly here.
Whoa, some shots. Oh, a very aggressive Fox. That's what we're used to seeing from Fox playing the Jaeger. He hops on outside onto that north balcony, I think west balcony, and sees the head there of Eclipse and tags it down. That's one of the primary soft wall breachers gone.
So that's a great start. eXcellence has got to be feeling pretty comfortable after that. Maybe Oregon is eXcellence's map. And you can tell a lot of the similarities between these teams. There's just some slight adjustments that each of them make. Of course, we're seeing the Mira played here instead of the castle. But apart from that, the setup is almost identical. It is really cool to see. And it is obvious that these two squads are scrim partners, as their meta has developed very similarly. This attack from VG, on that note, however, is completely different from what we saw from eXcellence.
The man's going to get flashed on out, and it looks as though it does not go off, and the Hibana charges will get destroyed. Young's going to spot him on out. Shots will go down. King George will fall. My man's going to try to pick up another kill here as Slash comes on into the bathroom. He now is going to have to navigate on outside. Goes for the kite game. Backs on out into the meeting hall as Slash looks on up. Tags a couple shots there on the Fox. And it looks as though eXcellence will be out on top with a 3-5 man count in favor of eXcellence.
So you could see Bandit there. He could have held that mirror window for another 30 seconds. He could have even gotten a couple more kills, but he very wisely fell off the angle because look at that, 5 versus 3. We don't need to fight this. Plus, VG
They don't even know it's clear yet.
Yeah, exactly. VG now, they don't know it's clear. They have to spend so much time slowly inching their way here. And my man, as you can tell, has moved his way into Classroom. That's going to give my man a great position here onto Avian. If Avian tries to push into the lobby, he will be caught off guard.
Now, you have Young with Diffuser inside of Dining. Avian's going to back on up into Kitchen Hallway, and I believe that was Slash was inside a bathroom, possibly hopped on out towards, there he is, hopped on out to south windows. This right now spells doom for VG. There's 40 seconds left to go. They're going to try to go for a master bedroom push, I think.
Yeah, they don't really have any actual way to attack this bomb site. And you can see here, Geo covering all his bases.
Great camera, though. That just spotted out all of the south of Oregon. They know that another one's going to be on outside, and they've got Armory. They've got master bedroom. They've got kids' dorms. They've got middle dorms, all taking control. Avian goes to push on up, goes for a shot inside the middle dorms, gets taken out by Brian. My man getting that shot down onto Young. And that is a flawless round, I think, for eXcellence.
Yeah, great defense there. The VG attack had almost, well, they had 0 options going towards the latter end of that round after they lost those first 2 players. Just not enough man advantage to make any push really happen. So it kind of just became a wait till the round's over sort of deal. Now, 2-0, favor of VG, or sorry, in favor of eXcellence. Now, the thing to note here is that we did have VG start themselves off with a 2-0 lead on border just prior, and then eXcellence started their, they got 3 rounds in a row. Now, of course, those were the only 3 rounds that eXcellence got that whole map, but it's entirely possible VG could start their comeback right here. We've seen some pretty great comebacks from VG.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
Now, bomb site will go back upstairs as VG was unsuccessful their first time trying to hold it. And we saw it last time when eXcellence was attacking. We saw Capital come out, and typically we'll see Capital on the basement hold when we know that there's going to be a Mira. We haven't seen a Mira yet on Oregon. I'm trying to figure out, is the Capital just a pick of in case they go downstairs, or is it intended for this top floor?
We haven't seen a Mira from VG yet, but I think the Capital pick is straight up just because they might expect VG to rotate down into the basement instead of trying to hold the top floor again. I mean, we've talked about it before, the rotation factor for, hey, we lose a round on this floor, let's just go somewhere else. Let's not try and force this out. I think eXcellence is just reading into it, saying, hey, you know, if they do, then they do, and we don't have to worry about it. Plus, I mean, Momen, I think, yeah, Momen did bring the Capital last time.
Correct.
So, you know, I think it's just eXcellence is like, okay, Capital and Oregon, that's the strat. And let's make sure we have everything covered, you know, all our bases covered and not try to risk anything.
Now that we thought about it, I mean, we have seen it picked on this top floor, especially to try to get someone out of the north windows between the 2 windows inside of Kids Dorms. We've seen that. There's the C4. That's what they were trying to do before. Pre-placed possibly there by Slash to get his kill.
Certainly worked that time.
It did this time. Now he doesn't need to be over-aggressive. That's 1 member off the board. That's actually IQ, which means most of the Valk cams are going to be safe for the time being.
Well, the one that Slashhawk just threw is going to get shot. Let's be real. I mean, it's on the floor. It's, like,
it's right
Geo
there.
can see it right now.
I don't think Geo actually cares about it at the moment.
Yeah, well, I don't think he actually saw it, but it was in his peripheral at least. Whoa! Woo! There's the aggressive run out from Slash, using his Valkyrie cam to take the kill on a Geo.
I don't think he'll see it now either.
This great play from Slashhawk onto this main west window to the A bomb side is going to put them now, and VG that is, in a 5-3. Good solid man advantage here to start it out, and this is the same way that eXcellence won the previous defense round.
Just hopping out of the big west window.
Yep. Well, not necessarily. I mean, it's just that aggression, really, between these 2 teams. That's what's allowing aggression, man advantage early, and then you just hold. You just wait, you hold. And
I think it's a little ironic. We just saw, I think it was Brian used those Hibana charges to open up the castle barricade, which had 1 hit on it. they just 11 hit that. I think that was going to be Avian that did it.
All that work all for naught.
Oh, my man tries to get up to the ladder of Attic King George's right there to knock his head down. Last 2 alive going to be Gurmy and Brian. Still over a third of the round. Brian is now very skeptical about trying to go up there.
Yeah, the only way for Brian to apply any pressure to that King George castle is to come up the ladder or rotate all the way outside, and he doesn't really have a lot of time here. 59 seconds. He's got to make a move now.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not much eXcellence can do to salvage this round. We are going to see Brian head on over to the dining hall, and
just kind of a case here for eXcellence of just wait until the round's over, try to get a couple kills on the board, you know, pad those KDs a little bit. The comeback here is possible, but it would be very, very difficult, especially with only 30 seconds left. That's barely enough time to
Slash is going to get another knife kill here onto the butt of Brian, most likely. No, he's going to be over-aggressive, goes for the peek, and gets taken down.
Yeah, I'm sure that one of his teammates are going to get that refrag, though.
Yep. 10 health left on Brian. He's going to try to hop into the window. Eclipse peeks on out. Gurmy then will get sideswiped here by Young. I think that was from the white stairs.
Top white stairs, yeah, it was a nice angle. Look at this, between the dresser wall.
Look at that little sliver.
And the little leg there of the bunk bed. That means that there's almost no possibility for the Blackbeard to get the shot back. You're not going to hit that shot. It'd be very difficult to adjust in the middle of a fight to that. And that's just, you know, reading into the fact, hey, I'm challenging a Blackbeard. I can't take a fair fight. Now, 2-1, first round on the board here for VG. Great play there from Slashhawk in that early round. It's going to be laundry room defense now from eXcellence as they were successful in that top 4 defense. This is the first time we've seen the basement held, and it's going to be in round number 4.
And then Mira finally does make an appearance here, and again we're gonna see VG pick up the same 5 operators.
Well, we saw the mirror earlier from eXcellence when they were holding that top floor, but no, I think it's only Vertical right now who hasn't showed us that the mirror. But
Really? Okay.
yeah, but it makes it makes much more sense having that mirror downstairs. You know, it's
You're
gonna
right.
be
You're right.
more
We did see that Mira.
more aptly used, I suppose, is what's really gonna come down to here.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Interesting. It looks like we might see some heavy
Attackers will cover the
meeting
bomb
hall
diffuser.
pressure coming out from
Attackers
eXcellence.
are moving out to locate a bomb. and
We
Now-
say that, but they've been barricaded, reinforced a lot of stuff, but no
Yeah.
one's up there actually holding just yet.
I'm sure they'll probably have someone find them themselves there at some point. It seems like it might be a little bit of a heavy west roam. I'm not sure what's going on here for eXcellence. Okay, let me see what's going on. Wow, some very aggressive play into the west lobby from, or not west, sorry, just the west side of the building here from VG. Barely even 30 seconds progressed, and VG already have control over kitchen. This is actually really big. I love that drone game coordination for VG. King George and Young, you can see they're clearing out all the way from kitchen into meeting, and now Slashhug's going to know what he's going up against, which is going to be a Fox A roaming inside of the meeting hall. And actually a Geo as well. And then my man's going to be playing it up inside the tower.
Now Fox is trying to shoot through this soft wall of pantry up towards the drop hatch, which is where Eclipse is, or was, we'll say.
Yeah, the attackers are not pressed for anything really here. They've got the information, they've got the time, they can just slowly execute this take and force those roamers down, and it looks like that's exactly what they've done. eXcellence has almost entirely fallen back into the bomb site. It's all down to my man now as the last roamer to try and delay just a little bit more.
Now that castle barricade on the wall of the front lobby sometimes goes actually in favor of the attackers.
Yeah,
Because
actually,
then you
I was
don't have to worry about a peek from
Yeah.
meeting hall. Like oftentimes an attacker, a smart attacking team will say, look, we can get in the meeting hall, we can clear that out from kitchen, let's leave that barricade there.
Yeah, it's the same thing as a west lobby on Chalet castle barricade. You'll see that west lobby door reinforced with the castle barricade, and then, all right, the attackers are just going to thermite into trophy since you can't stop that anymore. So yeah, that barricade is actually pretty much, it's an interesting one, and honestly, I don't think it's the good one for, I don't think it's a very good one for eXcellence. But despite that, VG's going to open it on up so they can watch their flank a little bit more aggressively, especially considering they have that control already. You can see here that eXcellence is going to be trying to apply some pressure into the attic and get this late roam game off. We'll see if VG's ready to receive this. Yeah, Slashhug is going to be in a position to receive this roam.
Now my man's going to go for the peek here. I think Slash might have seen him. He's going to hold a very small angle, spots ahead of him, tries to take it off, but right now that's just going to be a stalemate. 30 seconds left to go. Young is working his way down the main stairwell. There's been 2 gas grenades tossed out, which means there's 1 left in the hands of Brian. 20 seconds to go. Still a 5-on-5. We're going to have to witness this go down to the final seconds. Young does have about 60 health left. He's going to have to go on through here. I think that might have been the last gas grenade. Tries to toss. No, there's no more left. C4 is going to come on up, and he calls it fake. And that's 1 down, double down there. That's going to be a wonderful job by Brian. Slash picked up a kill along with Avian. Gurmy tags 1 down. He tags 2. Brian picks up a double kill. What a round to finish it off for eXcellence. Round number 4 going to their hands. 3-1 now.
Great job there for Brian, really holding that together for his team. And what a spontaneous round. Just slow, slow, slow. That explosion. All 5 of the attackers and all 5 of the defenders clash in what seemed like, I think that came down to about a 15-second engagement between the 2 teams.
I'd say about 15
About
to 10
15,
seconds, something
yeah.
like that, yeah.
Between 10 and 15 seconds, and then everyone was dead. It was a great attempt there from VG. I think they just took too much time with their clear of the roamers. Really was what it came down to. They I think afforded too much attention to the roam game overall, and arguably eXcellence forced that out. You know, they did not relent with their roam game even after falling back to the bomb site. They still continued to apply pressure. And that really put a lot onto the shoulders of Slashhug, who was trying to hold that flank single-handedly. Then everybody else from VG trying to push into the bomb site was conscious of, oh, Slashhug's contesting right now. Slashhug's contesting right now. They took their nice and slow time pushing inside, and that just did not work out. Now, 3-1 in favor of eXcellence. Looks like we might see map number 3. They've only got to win 1 more round to put it on to match point.
We are going to spot out here from eXcellence the Jackal Glass combination, which we talked about multiple times in the past. Is Jackal's now being paired up with Glass due to the fact that he's got smoke grenades in his arsenal.
And, you know, it used to be the case that smoke grenades were such a commonplace appearance in the Pro League. I mean, you saw them almost every single match because you got Thermite bringing them. You've got Ash bringing them. And now it's the case that, no, it's in fact, it's flashbangs that you see commonplace. As the operator selection hasn't changed for the most part based on that, that adjustment. But, you know, it is really great to see when smokes do make their way back. You see this almost always it's just a Jackal Glass combo come into play. And, you know, it's really great. This Jackal Glass combo is not only really great at clearing out the roamers, but it's also really great at just getting sight pushes because that smoke glass combination is so powerful. Still, even after his nerf.
Yeah, King George was trying to be over-aggressive and fight Geo out by the white vans. He got a little bullet in the chest, but again, that's not going to do as much damage as pre-season 1 or pre-season 2.
He would probably be down right now if it were pre-nerf.
Fox gets the kill there onto Eclipse and gets traded back by Slash, and then yet again another refrag coming out from Gurmy.
So you gotta, yeah, eXcellence is feeling really good here. King George is gonna be on 1 HP, and he's likely to be collapsed upon at any moment now.
We say that, but as he gives away his position, my man will be taken down by a headshot from King George. A wonderful pickup frag at 3-on-3 now. Still half the round left to go. Classroom wall, that might have been Classroom wall or the box getting opened up.
Oh, King George is trying to salvage this.
Oh, can he get back up? Oh, he chopped down one little nick too much, and that's going to force him to be taken down. Brian, though, picks up that kill.
Still winnable though, despite the fact that King George missed that last bullet onto the Hibana.
Took him down very low.
Did put, yeah, he put Hibana on 1 HP, and with a Hibana and a Glass both on 1 HP, all Young really needs to do is smoke out that Gurmy, and he will win this round just off smoke. He can win it just off gas canisters.
Oh, they're going to get picked back up here, and that's going to be a lot of time wasted. But again, there's only 2 members left for the defending squad. They know they're going to be on site. The roam game isn't going to be that strong now, and with that, it's going to be up to Young and his gas grenades to hold off this push.
Yeah, to be honest, that pickup was the right call. These attackers have plenty of time to execute this attack. They don't need to stress themselves here. 50 HP is going to be much more comfortable. Now, they do have to worry about the fact that there's 3 gas canisters, and he can chain them to the point at which, like, he will not have 1 second of space for Brian.
There's the first one. Oh, he might get it down. The smoke grenade's going to blind him, and so he will actually get this plant down in time. Brian just securing it. Now, he doesn't go for the fake. He does go get it successfully up into the corners where he'll sit. Rain down from above will be where Gurmy sits, and he's going to be looking down through the drop hatch, looking towards the laundry cubby. Now Gurmy's still trying to hold on to the angle. Young goes for the shots, but he doesn't get out in time. Brian picks up one, Gurmy gets the other, and that's going to be a nice clutch moment here for eXcellence. They are now on match point of map number 2. It's 4-1.
That's an example of smoke grenades there being very useful for the attackers. So of course, great collapse onto the roam game early on for eXcellence, but when they came into the site push, that smoke grenade from the Glass is the only reason they won that round. Straight up. Only reason they managed to salvage that. And it looks like we will be having a rehost here, ladies and gentlemen. But that's okay. Excellent. They're going to be at 4-1 regardless. Scoreline's not going to change, and they've got to be feeling pretty good here on Oregon. Now, again, to touch on that last round, if that weren't for that smoke grenade, would have lost that round through and through. Blinded Young made it so he didn't know where to throw his gas grenades, and because of that, they managed to get the defuse plan.
Yeah, I mean, that's very unfortunate, because I mean, when you have 3 smoke grenades or 3 gas grenades on smoke, there were what, 20 seconds left?
Yeah, to be honest,
it's like
I was
you toss
really
one
surprised.
out, you make sure
Just
both
roll
your
both.
corners are covered, and then last one, you wait until the smoke dissipates and you hopefully get it.
Yeah, I was really surprised there by Young that he didn't just kind of throw his gas canisters and, you know, cover all of his bases with so little time. But it's not really going to matter. I think that clearly what we're seeing here from eXcellence is that they're very dominant on Oregon. They just seem to be the stronger team. I mean, 4-1 right now. It's going to come down, I think, just to Skyscraper play.
So I think what's going to happen here is Vertical Gaming is going to lose this second map, and that means we're not going to have a single undefeated team yet.
Yeah.
I think your team during season 2 of last year was the closest team to
We
ever
came
being
the
undefeated.
closest.
You were one map away,
We
and it was
lost-
during this final playoff game.
We
or
lost
playoff.
one. This was year 1, season 2. It was technically the same team that is VG now. We were called Orbit GG at the time. We won every single map until the very last map that we played in that season. And keep in mind, back then you played every team in the league.
Yeah.
So it
All
was
7 other teams. It was
Yeah.
7-week longs. It was a
Yeah.
round robin structure.
Yeah.
Not a bracket tournament structure like this.
yeah.
But you played every team, and it was a 2-map series, not best of 3, just 2 maps. And you played, I think it was Flipside, and you won the first map. Second map was on Clubhouse.
And we lost that one on Clubhouse due to, unfortunately, a little bit of a fuse exploit. It was really unfortunate. We lost our Smoke, who was playing inside of the church, trying to hold against the church wall take. And this is back when the meta was put your thermite on church wall and open that. Remember that meta? Oh my gosh, that was so long ago. And because our Smoke got taken out early, do that exploit, fuse coming through the reinforced wall, then it opened up the attack there for Flipside, and they got the defuse plant, and we couldn't get the retake on the final round of the map.
So that looks like these two teams, Vertical Gaming and eXcellence, will likely head back into that same kind of scenario where they're one map away from having that undefeated season. We are going to get underway in just a moment. We're still waiting for the rehost to happen as the teams are going to funnel back in.
I don't think
Oregon,
anyone's had an
however.
undefeated season yet.
Not that I recall at all.
It's going to be really fantastic when we see our first undefeated season, but keep in mind, it's getting harder and harder for teams to get an undefeated season because the competition just keeps getting stronger.
I mean, especially when you've got what we call these Titan teams on either side of the group stages in every single region.
I mean, we're talking about eXcellence or Flipside today are going to not make it to land.
Yeah.
Like that's
Elevator Flipside.
Elevator Flipside, excuse me. That's in it by itself kind of a little bit mind-blowing. You're expecting to see both of them at land. You know, it kind of going into the season, you're like, okay, they're going to make it. Continuum. I mean, come on. You know, everyone expected them to be making it to land this season, and
I mean,
they're just not. Again, 2 seasons in a row now.
Yeah, in all honesty, nothing against Continuum, but they seem to have their ups, and then they just seem to be in a low spot now.
When
I mean,
season 3, year 1,
Yes.
and then Invitational, and then suddenly not
like,
make it
what
to either
happened?
of the next 2
And
lands.
I think, to me, what I feel happened is not that Continuum changed up rosters and are not playing up to their level. I think it's these other teams are now seeing how much effort, how much skill it takes to play at this high level, and it's making them thirsty for more. It's making them hungry to play at this top level, and that's why we're seeing so many teams come out with these new strategies. We're seeing this season alone, I want to say nearly 50% more bomb sites chosen than we've seen in the past season.
Yeah.
And this is just tremendous. I mean, to me, it's just like, you see these teams coming out of the woodwork saying, we're going to come up with these pocket strats. We're going to come up with these different elements to this strategy. And I think that's what's going to lead teams to then come out on top.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's really crazy high levels of competition, and I think it really comes down to our new bracket system as well.
Yep.
You know, we used to use round robin, it just be based off points, and people would be a little bit lax in certain fights. Like they're going up against this team, and they'll just say, it's whatever. You know, we actually had a couple situations way back, season 1, season 2, when I was playing, where it was a team would actually be coming up against us, and they would just give up. Like they would fight hard. Don't get me wrong. They're not trying to lose or anything. Like they're not throwing or anything. But they'd be like, we can't beat these guys. We can't beat these guys. I actually talked to a couple teams who would, after a couple matches, where they're like, yeah, no, we weren't expecting to be able to take you guys on, but we tried our best and we put in our A+ effort. But now what you've got is, with the way the elimination system works, is like, no. We're coming to this match with everything because we don't want to get eliminated from the Pro League this early on. No, we're not getting we're not getting taken out, and we're losing in our first bracket, then losing in the loser bracket. Then we're done. That's it. You get 2 matches in Pro League, and then you're done.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be that guy.
Nobody wants to be that because, again, you're playing week 1, week 3, or week 2 and week 4, and you're out in a 7-week series or a 7-week long season. But to touch on that note while we wait for everyone to funnel back in here, there's been some confusion in the past about who makes it to season 3, who has to fight in relegations, who has to do who has to do the legwork to make themselves back into the Pro League. It's a little bit different than season 1. Season 1, it was in the Pro League. If you placed 7th and 8th, you were automatically put down into the challenge Challenger League. If you placed first and second into the Challenger League, you were automatically put up into the Pro League for the next season. That's not how it works this season. This season, it's a little bit different. You're never guaranteed a spot if you're in those bottom 4 teams of the Pro League, and you're never guaranteed a spot into the Pro League if you're one of the top 4 teams in the Challengers. Basically, the way it works, there's going to be 2 sets of relegations. If you're in 7th and 8th coming out of the Pro League, which is Omen and Infamy,
Right.
they play 7th and 8th in Pro League. They will then have to fight teams 1st and 2nd place coming out of the Challenger. It's not a guaranteed you're going down and a guaranteed you're coming up. So they're going to have to go into a relegation. Then we have a second set of relegations for the 5th and 6th place teams. That's going to be Continuum and Bittersweet. Those 2 teams are going to be 5th and 6th in the Pro League. They're going to have to fight 3rd and 4th out of the Challenger League, which I don't think those have been decided just yet. They might have been.
So Bitter and Continuum, we're going to have a little bit of an easier go of it than Infamy.
Potentially, yes.
Of course, but it is still going to be a very a close, I think, from the level of competition we've been seeing coming out of the Challenger League.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of teams have been seeing a lot stronger. I think we're going to see Continuum make their way into the Pro League. And of course, that raises the big question: is Continuum going to make it to Season 3 finals, or are they going to struggle to do that yet again?
I think that's a lot of speculation to have in one
It's
5-minute
so
conversation.
far away. Yeah, no, I think we, of course, that's way off. We haven't even seen relegation start. We don't even know who's going to be playing against Continuum yet. And then, more importantly, this season hasn't even ended.
Yeah. But, I mean, when Bittersweet does go, to move the conversation to Bittersweet, when Bittersweet does go to play some of these Challenger League teams, it's going to be very similar, I would say, to some of the teams that they played last season, because they came from the Challenger League. They know who's down there. They know the type of competition.
We've seen Bittersweet and Infamy both do very well within their Challenger League meta. Now, the Challenger League meta, on that note, from both of those teams hasn't been propped up well against some of these other Pro League teams. Like what we've seen them bring from the Challenger League into the Pro League just hasn't been working. But it does work well against itself. So I think those 2 teams are going to be really chopping through people in the relegations.
At the very least, what it's done is it's thrown a little curveball into the meta where we're seeing different things come out. For example, I think one of the mirror windows we saw, trying to think where it came out from.
Which one?
That was the one on Cafe. Sorry, that was Panics on Team Vitality.
Are you talking about the far east of Freezer looking
by
towards
Freezer
the
looking
piano?
through Freezer looking in Piano top floor. That was from Team Vitality in the European region, but almost every team's doing that now, or a lot of teams are at least aware of it.
Not every team's doing it. Yeah, everyone's aware of it, and I think a lot of them do try to work it into their play, and it has been really successful when we've seen it. Of course, that's a great mirror window that just affords whoever's playing on the A-bomb site or / white hallway basically full control over the top floor, aside from the main white hall, and that can be remedied by somebody playing on the white stairs, of course. So
yeah.
I mean, if you have someone on the white stairs and you have one person playing the A-bomb, with that mirror window, you have full control over the top floor, just looking away from A towards B, towards Scar, towards Piano. You just have full control.
They do. I mean, that's the
Great
purpose
window.
of the mirror window. Give you full control, not necessarily physical control, but full control of being able to stop a push coming in. One of the things, though, we talked about the bottom 4 teams out of the Pro League and what happens to them and their relegations. The top 4 teams are guaranteed into the next season Pro League as long as they maintain 3 original members from this roster. So that means Elevate, it means Excellence, it means Vertical, and it means Flipside will all be here next season at their chance at trying to go to Brazil. Their chance, not guaranteed. Regardless of how you do in Season 2, you're not going to be guaranteed a spot in Season 3 land until you get to the playoffs.
Yeah, we've seen. I think the way that it also works is as soon as the Pro League starts, you play your first match.
Yep.
Then everyone on your team is then be considered an original member. So as soon as you play your first match, you can actually still technically rotate 2 players out of that.
Correct.
So you could rotate 2 players before you have your 5 original members from the previous season. You rotate 2 members. Bring in those 2 guys, then
play your first game.
Play your first game, season starts, and then you have 5 original members, and you rotate 2 other members. And you can have a 4-man new roster.
I don't necessarily know who wants to change up 80% of their team.
Nobody wants to do that, but
especially if you're one of these top 4 teams that have done so well.
It's possible, though.
It is possible.
But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get back into the match. It's going to be on Oregon. eXcellence is, of course, up 4-2 VG's 1. And it looks like pretty certainly we're going to be seeing Skyscraper played as our 3rd and final decider map in this series. However, if a team's going to come back, I'd say it's going to be VG here. They've got the skill. They've got the potential. They're going to be attacking onto the top floor.
VG's commonly been one of those teams that loses the first few rounds, gets a sense, gets a feeling for the team they're playing against, and then counter-strats mid-game and comes out on top. Now that was, I'd say, the old VG before we had King George come into the mix. King George has since brought a very different kind of mentality to the team, and it's worked out tremendously well for them. Here, however, they are seeming to struggle on Oregon against eXcellence.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Now we are going to see eXcellence hold down
5
the
seconds
bottom,
left.
or hold down the kitchen on main floor when bomb site's top side. Looks as though my man
Attackers
will
have recovered
stick
their
himself in
diffuser.
here. Now
Attackers
last time
are
he picked
moving
up
out
one
to
kill into
locate a
King
bomb
George
to
playing the
defuse.
Blackbeard, and then rotated on out, and ultimately, this is where it was a flawless round, I think, for eXcellence.
Yeah, eXcellence had a really good time at defending this top floor last time they were here. They got that early kill at the start of the round. I think
Yeah,
it was a
those-
run out from Foxay.
Onto
And
Eclipse,
there,
yeah.
then there was my man, like you said, getting King George, and then after that, eXcellence just waited. And VG got down to like the last 30 seconds, started to try and push, and it was not nearly enough time. And of course, they didn't make that comeback. 3 versus 5, it's not going to happen.
Now Eclipse is going to move his drone down here through the bathroom corridor, spots one of the rotation holes from a man, realizes, okay, he's backed on out, try to push on in. He opens up some of the wall there, make sure that no one's going to be tucked around inside of the corner.
Almost looks like a kitchen attack here.
Possibly.
So yeah, VG just doing that standard west side kitchen clear. Trying to, no, this attack works really well if you can actually get the roamers who are playing down in the kitchen. If you can kill them, put yourselves at the man advantage, it works wonders. But if said roamers are allowed to play it safe and get away, escape that angle, and not fight you directly, and just waste your time, then you effectively, as an attacker, getting this control, it does almost nothing for you.
Now my man's sitting on a very peculiar position here at the bottom of the main stairs. I don't know if he's going to get droned out unless the drones are going to go upstairs towards him.
This is also good. Eclipse opening up at the top of white stairs, that's a lot of control that the defenders won't have, because that top white stairs position is arguably one of the most powerful positions on this whole defense here.
Now we are going to be seeing my man still stationed on the stairs there. Foxay using his Valk
A bomb
cam
has been
placed by
located.
Geo to just get a full line of sight, a very good amount of panoramic view.
Good start for Avian. He's going to take out Geo.
Swapping mags.
Looks like that was the top of the white tower into the A site, A bomb site.
Nice. Do a bit of aggressive play there from Geo. 45 seconds to go, though. eXcellence, all they really need to do is wait patiently for the VG attack to force itself in. They are running very much out of time here. And my man, if he is able to get a nice, well-timed flank off, he's going to put his team in an even better position.
Now, if he moves into kitchen, he will be seen here by Blackbeard. King George already holding. Oh, yeah, it looks like Young might be holding down the angle. Gurmy, though, picks up a C4 kill and a slash hog. 20 seconds to go. My man's going to back on over to Classroom. King George peeking on in through the A window, trying to hold down the rotation, but with the mirror window there, it's not going to allow King George an easy push in. Bomb's going to be in the hands of Avian as he comes on up the stairs. Young going to follow suit. The man comes up from behind, tags one down, goes for Avian from behind, looks to the side, gets King George down, and looks like Diffuser gets fallen. Gurmy picks up a team kill after taking out one member. That's going to be a knife from a man to win round number 6. Round number 7. That's going to be a 5-1 victory here for eXcellence. Round 7, 5-1. Or 6.
6.
Round 6.
Yep, you were right the first time. It is going to be round number 6, and that's a 5-1 victory. That was very dominant there from eXcellence.
Yes, they did a very nice job there collapsing, and ultimately, I mean, my man had perfect timing there. He looked like he was about to go a little bit early. Young was inside of the dining room looking in towards kitchen. Got droned out, realized, hey, let me back it up a bit, waste a little bit more time till they're forced to go for that commitment up the stairs. He did so, picked off Young, and
Really
moved
good
in forward.
pacing. And apart from just the pacing from a man, I mean, overall the defense from eXcellence was well coordinated. And I mean, everything from eXcellence on Oregon. They seemingly really did have a grasp on Oregon. Obviously, that's going to be one of those maps that people are not going to want to bring eXcellence to. But now, I believe we do. We're going to be moving on to Skyscraper. Skyscraper is going to be our map number 3 for this series. And before we get there, let's take a look at some of the highlights here on Oregon. Now, it was a good overall match. Of course, there were some close rounds for VG, like this one right here, where a slash hug almost managed to bring it back for his team. You see, though, because he's on 50 HP, one shot from that deagle did actually eliminate him.
Yeah, I think a Deagle, if I remember correctly, does like 64 damage or something.
It's
at
pretty
point
high
blank.
up there on
Yeah.
the spectrum. It's, I think, one of the top. It is certainly one of the top damaging
double-
pistols.
Double highlight there to get rid of IQ with the C4.
That's really nicely,
Protection's mean.
well placed there for C4 from Slashug. See, that was the example of Slashug actually doing some good work on that main West Lobby window, or not West Lobby, excuse me, just West Side window. That was the one round that VG actually managed to win too. That defense of that top floor there.
Now here's that well-timed flank from my man. Picks up that kill into Young, moves on over, takes out King George as well. And just ultimately, my man gets the
Turn it
3K
around
there.
for the knife.
Yes.
What a great job there.
It's like, I got you! Knife him right there in the side. That will be the map number 2 going into the hands of eXcellence Gaming. Map number 3, as we said earlier, will be on Skyscraper. And ultimately, what this means is that there's not going to be an undefeated team here this season.
Yeah, a little bit of a bummer there, I suppose, not seeing an undefeated team. You know, it's going to be really cool once we see, out of any region, really, a completely undefeated team. We haven't seen it yet, and I don't think we'll see it for a while, but it will come around eventually at some point.
Eventually.
It's a lot easier now. Technically, a lot easier in this current system that we have. Yeah, sure, the matches are way, way fiercer because teams are trying super hard to win everything. But also, you play less matches.
You play less matches, and ultimately, I mean, even if they come down to a super close series, every game, if it's the closest it can possibly be, it's still a 4-3 at one point or another. Most of the time comes down to a 1-on-1 and a 4-3. Who's going to win that last fight? Will you take it to 5-3 or will you make it 4-4?
Yeah, I mean, if we were still using that round robin system with the teams we have right now, oh my gosh! If we went back to that, no one would ever go undefeated ever. It would be impossible.
Very difficult. Now, again, talking about Skyscraper, one of the less common maps, one of the lesser common maps we see here in the Pro League.
I think we've even been seeing Coastline a little bit more than we've been seeing Skyscraper.
I want to say so as well, like, especially from the decider matches and
Yeah.
early playoffs. We've seen more Coastline than we have Skyscraper.
Last week we saw Coastline in every single region, I think.
I think 2 weeks ago,
Was
it was the deciders
No,
to find third and fourth.
Was it the deciders or was it the play? No, you're right. It was the deciders. So 2 weeks ago,
Yeah, the deciders
we
to
saw
get into the
Coastline
playoffs.
in every single series except for possibly Europe.
Yeah, I think Europe chose Skyscraper instead of Coastline on that one.
Yeah, it was Skyscraper instead. So we saw some big upsets in that decider, and that was those teams in the decider bracket who needed to decide, you know, if they were going to go be eliminated from this Pro League or if it was going to be, hey, let's push on in the playoffs. They were showing their cards, their hands a little bit there, saying, all right, we're going to
That's
try
where
to
we
force
saw, if
Coastline
I remember correctly, Flipside and Continuum.
It was Flipside and the Brazilian team BRK.
Yes.
They both
came out on top.
brought Coastline to the field.
Yep.
And they showed some really cool strategies. Both of them pretty much the same actually, strategies wise. I think they probably coordinated that. And that was them again. That was them showing their hands, being like, okay, we've practiced Coastline and we feel confident here. We want to give ourselves that map advantage moving into this best of 3 and try and push ourselves into the playoffs. And obviously it was necessary there for Flipside because Continuum very clearly were not ready to play on Coastline.
They
And
weren't.
even then, despite that, it went to the third map.
It did. We talked about this actually off stream earlier today. Is how does a team know when to show their hands, when to show their cards, and when not to? Like we talked about. Okay, you just mentioned we saw Flipside play on Coastline. Did they show their hand, or was it just a fluke and they did very well?
Clearly, they showed their hand. They
showed their hand on
Coastline.
that map.
Yeah.
Do we see teams showing their hands last week to make sure that they secure that land spot? Or do they hide it? Are we going to see Flipside or Elevate show their hand like fully?
Flipside and Elevate are both
to.
going to show their hands fully. Yes, they have to.
They have to.
Abso-freaking-lutely. There's no way either of those teams hold back an inch in this next matchup we're going to see today. Now, these two teams right here, they're having a lovey-dovey fest. They're just kind of, going at each other.
Lovey-dovey fest.
They're friends. They both want to win, but it doesn't really mean too much. They want that seed, but it doesn't really mean too much. And we are
going to get underway here, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be here on Skyscraper, map number 3, Vertical Gaming versus eXcellence Gaming. In the battle of the two top teams coming out of North America, let's take a look at the operator selections, starting out with VG on attack, eXcellence on defense.
Yep. And
Rook.
it's going to be karaoke, of course.
I see a Rook.
Yeah, a little bit, I mean, it's so weird to say that Rook is abnormal, but he is. He's absolutely abnormal in this current meta. You see more often if we're going to see either between a Rook and a Doc, you're going to see a Doc 9 times out of 10. So seeing this Rook, I mean, obviously they have a plan for the impact grenades.
Did people tell me that that in his profile picture there, in the operator selection screen, that picture of his elite skin looks like an astronaut's helmet? To me, it looks more like a fishbowl upside down on his head. I'm an aquarium fish kind of guy.
That's how a child cosplays as an astronaut, don't you know?
Yes, that actually is very true.
That's how you got to do it, man.
My head was never small enough to fit into one of those, so I've always been a big-headed kid.
I never wanted to pretend to be an astronaut. Never did that.
I was more of a magician as a kid.
No, I feel that. I respect that. Now, again, it is going to be a top 4 defense from eXcellence. No surprise there. This is the bomb site of preference for almost every single team. You got that secondary bomb site downstairs in the kitchen barbecue. It's going to be the majority of the rotation here.
Gurmy's going to be tucked around inside of the pantry hallway, reception hallway, which is not necessarily a common spot, but it is very open, and a lot of the times you will have drones passing through here like a highway, so I don't necessarily know if Gurmy's going to get the luxury of staying around here the whole time.
VG's not pressuring too hard in delivery. I'm not sure what's going on there. It looks like it's just going to be a straight take onto the balcony. And we've discussed this before, how sometimes Skyscraper can devolve into just, hey, take from the balcony, take from the balcony, take from the balcony. And 9 times out of 10 when this happens, the attackers lose straight up, because when you're forcing in through nothing but the balcony onto a top floor defense, yeah, you just funneled. Exactly. You can see here King George using his levitation skills to pressure onto that bottom north stairs window. And basically that bottom north stairs window, but by cutting that off, he's going to make it so Gurmy can't rotate back into the site. That's really good pressure there from King George.
Yep.
You can see Gurmy. Now, he's stuck here. He doesn't really have a lot of maneuverability. He's going to know where the attackers are using his pulse sensor, but he can't do anything about it. I mean, if he challenges King George, he straight loses. There's no way he wins that fight. The
one saving grace he has is to hop out the window, get the side flank on George, but again, I think George is going to hear that.
He could, in theory, also kind of hook a C4 up onto those guys on the balcony above him. Now, of course, the balcony's not destructible from below, as far as I can tell. But he can hook up a C4. He can make that arc
right
happen.
above him, there's the C4 getting placed. It's pre-placed right now. Gurmy's just waiting for that perfect time. Shot's going to come in through. He realized that his life was almost in danger. So he blew it a little early, but that's better than leaving it there for the whole round. Now it looks as though Slash and King George are both going to pinch onto Gurmy. They know he's here, so King George has his eagle eye right down onto the corridor. Clip's going to try to bait out some more of those gas grenades. 50 seconds left on the board, still 5-5. Flashbang's going to come out from King there onto the B site. And Smoke is now being met there with a drone trying to kiss him on the face. Looks like Gurmy tagged on outside. Geo picks up 1 kill into King, but not before Brian gets laid out flat by King George. Gurmy coming on up the north stairs, tags 1 down, almost saw another go for the tag, turns his back at the wrong time, Eclipse picks it on up for the refrag trade. A 3-on-3, 20 seconds to go. Fox has moved on into the yellow cubby, and I believe we have a Thatcher. I think that's Young inside of the B site. He's going to pick up 1 kill, go for the plant down. 2 members left, going to be Fox inside the cubby. My man's going to be, I believe that's going to be coming from Drum Room. Picks up the kill on a Young. Diffuser was not successfully planted. They're going to move in forward. Slash gets the trade there on the Young. Last man alive is going to be Fox. Plant goes down, it looks like, and there is Eclipse. I don't know if Fox is going to see him in time. Goes to the shot. Oh, the plant goes down, and there's the refrag coming out. Slash gets the pistol kill. Attackers will win round number 1. VG comes out on top.
Wow, what a series of events there. So the first thing that started that cascade of trades was King George falling off his hold of those bottom north stairs. Because of that, he got the kill on the player inside of the B bomb site. But after he got the kill on the player inside the B bomb site, he got refragged. Then, more importantly, there was no one holding that north stairs rotation yet again. So the Pulse was allowed to come up and take out somebody, one of the attackers playing on the north balcony. And after that, we saw the aggression from the Sledge rush on in and get that refrag onto the Pulse. Just a back and forth cascade. Then we saw some engagements happening into the Geisha room. And it came down to a 2 versus 1 in favor of the attackers. That was VG. They got the defuse plant with very moments to spare. Well, no moments to spare. Exactly 0, actually. They got the diffuser plant. And right after that, Slashhawk managed to get the trade from his Thatcher teammate who had planted. So just a series of trades, really, in that round. And it all started. King George came off of the north stairs hold. Now, we are going to see VG walking away with that nice little 1-round lead, and it's going to be eXcellence onto the attack at the same bomb site at top floor. Again, no
5
surprises.
seconds to
I
go.
want to see where Slash tosses out this camera instead of Dragon. I oftentimes get asked, where's some good Valk cams to get placed in Skyscraper?
Freaking
And,
everywhere, dude.
everywhere.
You throw a camera outside on Skyscraper, and it is hard to find. I mean, there are
Surprisingly,
so
we
many
don't see
choices.
IQ though.
You know, we've seen IQ a couple times on Skyscraper. I think the reason we don't see as much IQ play on Skyscraper as we would expect is because it's Skyscraper and we don't see Skyscraper. it's less about IQ, it's more about Skyscraper not being played often.
It's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah, so this early aggression from Fox A is actually not to be underlooked or overlooked, because the fact that he was allowed to vault in like that means that VG very clearly doesn't have any precedence on that roam game. And you can see here he opened up, I believe that's underneath yellow corner, which means that when the push comes from eXcellence into the bomb site, there's not going to be a corner for VG to safely hide it inside of A. So that was a really good early Ash charge there from Fox A. Even though you can see he completely defaulted off that presence, he still it still means that VG can't play in that corner. And that's huge. Now, eXcellence just going to be defaulting you back to the normal take after that Ash charge. It looks like actually Slash is going to read into this, I think. Yeah, he's going to be like, okay, well, you opened up the floor, but you're not playing it anymore.
Note to self, people playing against Vertical Gaming and Slash, if he's still alive,
He's going to be thrown under a window.
Treat every single window you vault in like there's a frost trap.
My man reading into that, apparently.
Yeah, he's going to hear that wiggle on through the hallway, or wiggling through the room to the bottom of the windowsill. Geo, though, picks up a nice frag there onto Eclipse, coming on out of the terrace to Drum.
That knife that Slash got earlier on the west window.
That was Capital, yep.
Yeah, that's what VG would call the snake knife.
Is that Snake Nade's
Yeah,
proprietary thing?
He started that out, yeah.
Okay. Now there are only 3 members left here on VG. King George meeting a little bit of a skirmish. Skirmish going to come up the north stairs, tag a couple shots towards Avian, but misses each and every one of them. The man picks up the kill with the L85 on a Young. Looks like Fox A and King George going to go back and forth. King George loses that engagement. Last minute lies going to be Avian, and there's going to be a flawless round for eXcellence as they just force their way onto site, taking out every member of VG.
Well, it's worth noting there that eXcellence here, okay, very clearly, first of all, seems like this map is, to start things out, attacker-sided through and through. But the more important thing there is, like you said, flawless round for eXcellence. They didn't lose a single member, and they had a very well-coordinated attack there. I really like their early aggression downstairs, disabling the yellow corner. Once they disabled the yellow corner, it's just a collapse onto the A bomb site. Really well-coordinated. Love it. Whereas VG, they had to struggle to take into the B bomb site, and they had to keep getting those refrags after refrags after refrags. So, despite it being, whoa, is this invitational, VG?
I was going to say, is this an invitation where we're seeing the Monty come on out? I remember seeing Monty push on up the north stairs.
Yeah, we haven't, well, he didn't push up the north stairs. He came from the north balcony into the A bomb site. We haven't actually seen much Montagne play since Invitational. That was, of course, a whole season, and actually, well, almost 2 seasons ago, basically.
6 months.
This season's just about done. So, yeah, it was quite a while ago. But you can see here very clearly VG coming back to the basics, coming back to their old tried and true, and we'll see if it works here against eXcellence, although I have to question whether it's necessary or not. As again, they did win with their standard take previously. And if that pattern continues, then that's all they really need. I mean, obviously, eXcellence, they haven't rotated off of the Geisha, or sorry, not the Geisha, the Tea Room karaoke defense. It's the same thing, so in theory, if eXcellence executes the same way, sorry, if Vertical executes the same way, they could just make this work. But, I mean, I guess adjustments are good for the fluidity of a win.
And it could also be the fact that they don't want to necessarily show their hands in this match, and so they're going to go with a tried and true method of 2 metas ago, going all the way back here on Skyscraper. They could just be saying, hey, this is something that's worked in the past, let's just throw it together, see if it works this time. Woo! Paul's being over-aggressive, tries to go for the shots there onto Eclipse, but Eclipse was ready for it.
Eclipse wins those. He hits those flicks. He must what was likely happening there is Eclipse heard the heartbeat detector be put back away, and that's big. That's really loud noise. And he's like, oh, this window. He's gonna vault out of this window, and he was certainly right about that.
Attackers have located a
Probably
bomb.
went for the pre-fire as soon as he heard the heartbeat detector. Now Avian's gonna be pressuring onto this north stairway. Looks like he's gonna be taken out by Brian. That's good aggression there from him. The longer Brian is allowed to stay alive on these stairs, the worse. So I think Young was just down there from the east side of the building. Yeah, this is my man peeking through this east side wall, taking out Yoel, downing Young. Meanwhile, Brian's going to get his second kill of this round. It looks like this might be the first defense, successful defense that is, for either team, going in favor of eXcellence.
Now it looks as though Young is going to crawl his way all the way back to the, I think that's the south balcony.
Could you imagine if Brian ran out right now onto that west balcony? He could have swift double kill, but it's not going to happen. And King George is going to make his way upstairs here. He's going to start pressuring onto the B window. This is what happened last time. King George was allowed to pick off Brian, and then VG just kind of filed on into B and got those trades. My man's going to reestablish this angle, but Young's going to be ready for it this time, and he will get the kill. That's actually a really important kill there, because now not only is East pressure alleviated, but also, more importantly, the man count swings back into an even.
Ooh, looks like a shotgun kill from Brian. Takes out the Blackbeard. King George moving on into the B site.
Brian's on fire for this round.
Yellow Cubby's going to have one member in it. Brian gets taken out there by Young. A knife from Fox goes on to Avian. Last member alive was Young, but coming out there will be bullets from Fox to finish off the final members of VG.
So I think that was a 3K for Brian and a 2K for Fox. Well done to him. Well done to both of them, actually. And there you go. That is the very first defense win there for either team. Going on to eXcellence's side, that's a pretty big leap, and you have to imagine that VG is going to be able to reciprocate said leap, but it's going to be difficult. As the last time we saw eXcellence attack onto this bomb site, it was so dominant. And it's going to be, again, same bomb site, karaoke tea room. I think that most teams heavily prefer to defend the karaoke tea room to any other option on this map.
Attackers need to locate and
I think so, and typically after this site gets successfully defended, we'll see the bomb site go downstairs to the barbecue and kitchen area. Every now and again, we'll see the exhibition and display, or exhibition and trophy, however you want to call it. But typically that barbecue kitchen is the second favorite bomb site.
Yeah, and I think between these two teams, it's going to be the same way. It's just barbecue kitchen. Unless they have something special to show us on one of the other bomb sites, which is entirely possible. I'm guessing they probably practiced this map together. I mean, you could tell, actually, you can tell by the way that it's played, it reflects each other. I mean, yeah, no, eXcellence and VG definitely both seeming like
5 seconds to insertion.
almost like brothers in a sense in terms of their team, how they play. You're seeing a lot of you can see a lot of similarities between them.
Left the area of operation.
Okay, so eXcellence, if they win this round, are going to put themselves at 3-1, and they have been very successful in this again previously. Foxay is looking to go for that same aggressive Ash charge underneath the yellow corner, and if he does this, he again will disable that yellow corner for play from VG, and it doesn't look, nobody from VG is in a position to stop this. There's no...
Yeah.
Oh, actually, there's holes in the floor here from Avian. Avian's going to be ready to receive Foxay, but he will look away just the wrong moment, and because of that, Foxay has made his way in. Oh, just... Did you guys see that? Barely.
Oh, and that's going to tag Slash down to 25 health, a little bit less than 20 health. Now, the importance of that hole, not necessarily, yes, it will stop someone from being inside of that yellow corner, or at least it'll make them risky, but at the same time, all they have to do is stick a drone down in there, and the drone can look on up, and someone who's dead off the board can get that information, call out one of the defenders sitting in the corner.
Going live.
A bomb has been located.
Now we do have Eclipse inside of the drum room. Fox is going to be underneath of it, looking like he's going to come up the middle stairs.
Clear. Reloading. Cover me. Deploying drone.
Avian gets a nice shotgun kill into Fox, though. That's going to be Ash off the board. Now, Gurmy's still trying to work his way up the north stairwell. He realizes that, hey, oh, there's a Valkyrie camera right above him. I think Gurmy finally saw it right there, lit up right in front. There he goes, takes it on down. A 5-on-4 now. And a lot of this wall has just been terrorized open inside of the B site.
Drone activated.
This might be a defense win here for VG despite the early aggression, but no, Geo's starting to get this trade back and making it happen. That's Eclipse playing onto the drone, or sorry, the drum. And Geo bringing it back for his team. That's very important frag there. Oh, another kill there from a man onto Young playing in the B-bomb site, and now pressure is starting to be alleviated.
King George will pick up a kill on him, a man after Sledge had been injured, had been disoriented with the yokai. Looks like another burst is going to go on out. Gurmy again still feeling a little bit woozy over there. He's now going to have to fight off for about 10-20 seconds or so. Plant's going to try to go down as a cover comes out. Geo goes, downs him and finishes off. Slash, more bullets coming in through. Looks like it might tag the shoulder of King George. Plant successful, and it looks as though there's going to be a nice shot. However, King George comes out on top. And it looks as though it's going to be King George and Avian. Last two alive. King George down to a very little health. Avian coming out the north stairs. They're going to go for a continued dual peek here. One out the window, one out the door. Avian's going to go for the shotgun kill. Misses his target. King George comes swinging out. Looks like he's going to go for the diffuser, but fakes it. And Geo realizes he's tucked around in the corner. He's going to come on out. Oh, he gets rid of the Claymore. It's done. King George, look at the shots coming out of the window. Look at it. Ladies and gentlemen, the hip fire shot there to get rid of the Claymore. That will allot him enough time and enough surprise to win round number 4. Vertical Gaming now ties it up 2-2.
Okay, so eXcellence won that round, and then VG won that round actually because King George, straight up. That was just basically just King George stepping up, getting that 1 versus 3 clutch by himself, destroying the Claymore to get that vault out. What an excellent play there from King. Now, what it should have been a 3-1 lead. It should be a 3-1 lead right now, but ladies and gentlemen, it is a 2-2. Now both of these teams have successfully attacked and defended the karaoke. And now we're going to be moving on to the second defense site for eXcellence, which is going to be that kitchen barbecue.
I'd like to know how many hits King George was on the diffuser when he faked it, or when he got up off it. Not necessarily
like
faked it,
just
but when he got
2 or 3.
up off. However, he did ultimately get the clutch there, one of a kind. Now, as we said earlier, bomb site for the secondary location will go downstairs into the kitchen and barbecue. Typical spot here, and wonder if how much vertical pressure we're going to see. Gurmy and Fox are currently top side, and it looks as though they're going to be reinforcing, possibly with some mirror windows. We'll have to see where those go in the future.
5 seconds remaining.
We see here one getting placed off. That's actually going to be an odd spot. Definitely not a common one, looking from the middle stairwell into the tea room.
That's some definitely some odd mirror windows going on there, but that's just going to be, I think, a little bit more control towards the east side of the building there for eXcellence, and that's important when you're holding a kitchen barbecue. You have to maintain that east control, because it's a lot easier to maintain east control when you're defending top floor, as you don't have to worry too much about defending on the bottom floor, obviously. And defending east from top floor is as simple as controlling drum, which is, you know, you could do that by holding a 90-degree angle. So it's a lot easier to hold it up. That mirror window is going to alleviate some of that extra pressure, which is applied as when you're holding downstairs.
Drone's ready.
VG looks like they're just trying to take from the top down here.
Going live.
Once they have control over Geisha Room, they're going to start opening up holes. And as you can see here, eXcellence actually isn't roaming upstairs aside from Gurmy inside of Drum, which is different to say the least. Usually you see a very heavy investment from the defenders in the top floor when defending kitchen barbecue.
Yeah, he's seemingly very exposed up there, having three large avenues come towards him. You've got the east side, the west side, and he can fall off.
Attackers have
But
located
that's
a
definitely
bomb.
not a typical spot we see anyone, especially a 1-speed.
Yeah.
Reload.
He's not going to have a lot of options in terms of rotation. In fact, he has one, but he's already utilized said option. And there's only half the round left here for VG, or a little bit less than half the round, actually. They've really got to make this... They really got to make this push happen sooner rather than later. They have control over Geisha, but that's not really going to afford them much. As you can see here, eXcellence has 3 people ready to pounce as soon as VG drops into kitchen, so they're not likely to get that defuse plant easily, despite having this complete vertical control.
It It looks as though Young or Slash, they want to drop. I can sense it in their bones, and they're just waiting for that perfect opportunity. Flashbang's going to come on out. Brian will get flashed out. Gas grenade is going to go exploding. Another gas grenade gets tossed on out. Now 35 seconds left to go. Last flashbang comes out. Brian does not get flashed in time. Therefore, the falls will happen. Slash going to move in forward. Tags on down. Looks for Brian. Picks it on up. And Gio gets tagged down as well. A wonderful double kill coming out from Slash. Pistol kill from King George will remove Fox. And Gurmy gets a 1 trade onto Avian. A 2-on-4 now. Diffuser did get planted, however. My man picks off 1 kill, trying to make it back into man count. Goes for a second, but misses the target. It's going to be a 2-on-2 now with Gurmy taking out the head there of Young. Slash and King George. Gurmy will fall as my man gets to the last man alive. Gets a couple shots there on the Slash in the side. You have 2 members from VG. Diffuser has been planted. There's about 25 seconds to go. And Gurmy, I'm sorry, my man, last man alive, still fighting tooth and nail against Slash here inside of the kitchen. Goes for some shots. King George, oh no, looks as though my man picks off 1. Goes for the revolver shots above, but he does not have enough time.
Yeah.
This automatically goes to Vertical Gaming, regardless if this kill happens or not. There it
Both of
goes.
them will survive the round, but that doesn't really matter. It will be a Vertical victory. Good execution there for Vertical. I like the attempt at the defense there from eXcellence. They were obviously planning on collapsing on that kitchen as soon as the defuse started coming through, but the problem that happened is Vertical just basically stacked all 5 players straight in. Well, not all 5 actually. 4 players straight in through the Geisha. And that amount of pressure is not easily alleviated or collapsed upon by the defenders. Too many bodies really from VG for eXcellence to handle. Plus that great push from Slashug into the delivery hallway. If that hadn't happened, then if he hadn't got that swift double kill, then it still could have been an excellent collapse there from eXcellence.
Definitely. That was just a pristine gunfight that you had to win, and Slash came out on top.
That's the right way to do it. Now 3-2 Vertical. This has been the slugfest that we saw in the first map so far, but this is about where Vertical Gaming walked away with the lead. The question is, will eXcellence keep it going and push it into overtime? Now, interestingly, we've not seen overtime yet between these 2 teams.
We have not, and
First map was definitively in favor of VG, and the second map was definitively in favor of eXcellence.
yep, each 5-1 if I recall.
No, 5-2,
5
5-1, I believe.
You're right.
eXcellence won 2 in
Correct,
the
it
first
was-
map.
Attackers have recovered
And then,
their
so, I mean, eXcellence has been feeling pretty strong here so far on map number 3 as well. I do think that this is probably going to be our overtime map here, ladies and gentlemen.
That camera right there is why you bring an IQ.
Yeah, so
Right here.
we're talking about how easy it is to play. Like, there are so many spots to put cameras on outside on Skyscraper that will afford you plenty of information, and you can tell here, VG are going to use it to get some great runouts. My man just barely.
Oh,
out.
Kenny
Oh, he's going to go for the ball.
He grabbed 1 kill, and that's going to be the sledge off the board. 2 frag grenades on as Brian gets the knife kill.
So aside from just the man, actually there's a trade back from Foxay, so that's actually going to be really bad for VG. This is probably going to be this trade back here in terms of rounds from eXcellence because of those 2 kills. Such a man advantage in the favor of, okay, so a 5-4 is not as bad as a 4-3. A 4-3 is definitely in the favor of the team with the 4, because at some point you start losing so much control. Having only 3 players, the defenders there's a lot of pressure on them now. I like what Eclipse is doing here with these holes, although I don't know that it's really going to change much. To be completely honest, I think it's mostly just a distraction, as King George is playing aggressively inside of the T. If an attacker comes around the corner, they're going to see those holes and fixate on them, which will give King George the ability to peek around the corner.
Now, as soon as the tip of this gun is spotted or bullets are seen, Eclipse will either wallbang or get this shot down onto Brian.
You see the bullet tracers coming through the wall, but he's going to stay firm on. Wow, it's all down to
Gurmy
Eclipse
and
now.
Gio picking up Young and King George. Last man alive is going to be Eclipse.
I don't
He
think he
gets
knows.
1, but a 3-on-1 now.
I don't think he knows he has the diffuser there,
He
so
does
he's going to get
not.
aggressive.
Fox
on
A going to be at the
Fox.
bottom of the stairs. Flashbang comes on out. Not even necessary as Fox picks up the kill. Round 6 goes into the hands of eXcellence. It's a 3-on-3 now, or 3-3.
Yeah, and this is that's kind of honestly what I expected there. I mean, obviously both of these teams feeling very strong right now. No match point going to be coming out yet, and I do think we're going to see overtime here between them. It's going to be eXcellence back onto the defense. They're going to be able to defend Karaoke T-Room, which they have had mixed success here, of course. They lost their first attempt. They won their second. But arguably on that second defense attempt, they were pretty strong,
Attackers
seemingly,
need to
against
locate and
VG.
defuse as
However,
many bombs
the
as
way
they
that
can.
VG attacked this on their second attack is they brought that Montaigne to the field and went for a little bit of an older push that really did not work at all. And as you can tell here, VG have opted not to bring Montaigne this time. So I think they're saying, okay, yeah, that clearly did not work for us. Let's not try to force it again. So this could be VG winning this round and then walking away with their lead, as they'll probably be able to. So if VG wins this round, put themselves on 4-3, that's going to be match point. Then if they go on to win their defense of the kitchen of the karaoke
10
room,
seconds left.
then that's going to be, well, that's going to be the series in favor of VG.
5
But
seconds
the big
to go.
if, of course, eXcellence has been putting up a great fight throughout the series. And of course,
Attackers
this specific
recover the
map.
diffuser. Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Now, looking at VG here, they are starting on the south end of the map, working their way up to the balcony of Geisha.
Oh, this time they're actually going to spot Gurmy and light him up. But I don't think it's really going to matter too much here. It's just going to mean Gerby's going to be forced to go somewhere else and roam a different portion of the map. He's lost one HP's, one bullet's worth of HP, but that's really not a big deal for Gurmy. Playing Pulse as a 3-speed operator, it's not what you're relying on.
Knock, knock. Drone spinning up.
Now, looking on over here, King George is going to hold down that corner, or hold down that corridor again, which he had to get off of. I think it was round number 1 previously, and that allowed for Gurmy to get the entry on up to the north stairs, pick off a kill. Now yet again, another good Valcam coming out of Fox A. Just easily spotting this out from Eclipse. Says, hey, there's 2 on this balcony. It's going to be Eclipse and Young. And we'll see if we can get these kills down. A minute and a half left to go in the round, ladies and gentlemen. At 5-on-5 still to ensue.
Yeah, this is actually pretty typical between eXcellence and VG. They do very much stall out on each other here. And this isn't a case of the attackers being too slow or the defenders being too passive. It's just an understanding for both these teams of what each other are doing and being inside the other team's mind. And they're trying to find the best opportunity to work through how eXcellence defends, and eXcellence is trying to find the best opportunity to capitalize on when that's what I'm talking about. That's that opportunity right there. Geo really capitalizing on it, going for a quick aggressive rush there. We'll take out Eclipse.
Now he knows that Avian is inside of the Geisha room. Some bullets just went flying into his side. Avian looking like he's trying to tag 1 kill. Slash gets the kill there onto Gurmy. That's the Pulse out of commission. We are going to see this looking like it. Brian going to have a heck of a time trying to hold down B. That is his second gas grenade, I believe. He might have 1 left in his arsenal. He does. He's got a hole opened up so he can drop it in the north stairs if he needs to. But right now, the castle barricade on the window of B is getting opened up. Young's meleeed that open. King George now going to be here. Last gas grenade goes on out. Flashbangs come on in. Gets him just for a split second. Now he's going to duck on down, get back on up inside.
No gas grenades anymore.
Avian's going to push inside, go for some pre-fire. Brian comes out on top. Young then shoots to get the refrag on down. King George did pick up a kill. 2-on-2 now. Man's trying to get back onto site. Looks like Diffuser going to get planted here in a moment. My man needs to go for a push. There goes one in. Looks like Geo will not get the kill. My man goes for it. Can he get King George down? Goes for the shots, tags him down, gets him. Can he also get Young? He's got to push in right now to get it. He gets the pistol kill, and that's going to be eXcellence. Going up 4-3. Match point, series point here on Skyscraper.
Great job there from a man getting that clutch. Really did seem like a VG win there, but again, they lost. So the problem with the VG attacks that we've been seeing happen quite a lot is that they win, they take control but via refrags, right? Forcing their guys into tricky positions, they lose them, and then they get the refrag, they get the trade. And that's great, that's all well and good, but when it comes down to the last couple seconds and you have to get that defuse plant, you only have 1-man advantage. You don't have enough time to have 2 people fight 1 guy. So yeah, despite the fact they had the man advantage there, it just wasn't enough. Not enough coverage there coming out from VG. Not 1 extra person to get that kill after King George got down. And now eXcellence Gaming are on match point, and all they need to do is successfully attack a karaoke. defense here from VG.
I mean, you heard it from Fox earlier in the interview that going from a 5th, 6th place team in the Pro League last season and quote unquote being a very, we'll call it, not well-known team. Some of the players, yes, they're known, they've been in the Pro League before, but the team itself and this combination of players is not very well known. To come out and possibly be the first place team out of North America is a feat that not many people and not many teams can say they've accomplished.
Can we see that scoreboard again?
Up and running.
Attackers
Look at that scoreboard. Look at my man and Geo right now, putting up quite a lot of work there. And King George as well. I mean, we've been seeing some pretty incredible clutches for both of these teams, of course. And it's a lot of these rounds have come down to 1 or 2 people really just stepping it up. Fox is going to be going for that early aggression yet again. Looks like onto the underneath the yellow. Now, of course, his teammates are going to draw him out. Make sure that it's clear, you know, that he can actually go for that. I think that actually we will have someone from VG attempting to stop that. It looks like one of the 3 speeds between either the Jaeger. Yeah, it's going to be the Jaeger. He's actually playing on the drone drop down, as you can see there over by Drum. He's going to be waiting for that Ash to rush in, I think. Maybe trying to drop down and pick her off. I'm not sure. Can't quite see him. Nope.
Gurmy's going to be on this west balcony, similar to where King George sits, and just watching for some of the rotation pattern. My man looking around says, hey, is there a Valk game out here? Most likely there is, and he just is not able to see it yet.
It's a very aggressive play here from Slash, and it will be capitalized upon by Geo. Good job to Geo there. Double Claymore.
Double Claymore.
We're not taking chances anymore with King.
Crisscross applesauce. You can see it right down there at the windowsill.
So directly countering King George, as you can see.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Inside the mind of King George.
That's a good double up, though. I think that's actually the right call there from eXcellence.
A bomb has been located.
I gotta imagine after losing that last round, they're like, no,
I just want to see.
never again.
I want to see like 2 more. Just go like 4 Claymores all at the window.
Okay, that would be just overkill. Come on, man.
Hey, it's King George we're talking about.
The only way to counter 2 Claymores is to like throw an Impactor or a C4, and that would counter 4 as well as it would counter 2. It doesn't look like Foxay actually did that to Ash that he did last time, or the last couple times underneath yellow. But that's not going to matter, as Brian's going to take out Young, and now it's a 3-on-5. Looks like eXcellence is going to deny this overtime here for VG.
Very possible. 55 seconds left on the board. King George, Eclipse, and Avian, last 3 alive on VG. Fox is going to go up the north stairs, try to get a couple shots there on Eclipse. Looks as though King George gets one into Gurmy and gets traded down to Avian, picking up the kill there on a Fox. 3-on-3 now. However, Eclipse has been injured. That means Avian now needs to cover and allow King George to rotate over, try to pick up his teammate. But right now, I don't think he's going to get safe enough or feel comfortable enough to do so. 30 seconds on the board. There's one enemy that's been detected outside. Oh, they are going to go for the pickup. Eclipse navigates back into the corner. My man tags 1 down. Avian still tucked around. My man goes for a 2nd kill there. Picks up Eclipse. That's 2 down. King George last man alive. My man gets a triple kill to get a clear eXcellence, winning this map, winning this series, making them the first place team out of North America. A wonderful clutch and a wonderful round set of matches here from eXcellence.
Not one single overtime in this entire best of 3, and eXcellence managed to come out on top against all odds. 60% hold victory for VG to... and it didn't really seem like, to the 40% of eXcellence, and it didn't seem like people thought that eXcellence could take out VG as a squad, yet here they are, standing victorious in this 2-1.
13 kills from a man on that series.
Well